conversations or take them out in the lobby there. Let's go ahead and call this Pompano Beach City Commission meeting to order, July 22nd, 2025 at 6 p.m. If I could please ask everyone here to go ahead and put your cell phones on vibrate or silent mode. That way we don't get disrupted during the meeting. So please put your cell phones on vibrate or silent. That would be great. Thank you. Kervin, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fezzik.
Here.
Commissioner Perkins.
Here.
Commissioner Sigerson-Eaton.
Here.
Commissioner Smith.
Here.
Vice Smith Fournier.
Here.
Mayor Harton.
Here, thank you. Our invocation this evening is going to be given by Dr. Ophelia Sanders with the Doctor Ministries. So if we could all please rise for the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good evening. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you this evening praying and interceding on behalf of the city of Pompano Beach. We pray for the governing body and the commissioners and officers that you have placed to oversee this community. Lord, we pray that all the decisions that are made here tonight are being done decent, in order, and in the best interest of the residents of the city of Pompano Beach. Lord, we ask that you also stay in this meeting, calm any storms that may be coming our way. All these things we ask in thy name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. Let's see. Can I get a motion approving the regular City Commission meeting minutes of June the 24th, 2025?
So moved. Second.
Moved and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Thank you. Ms. Sybil, any changes to our agenda this evening?
Yes, Mayor, we have two changes. We are adding an additional proclamation at the request of Commissioner Fezzik to recognize International Overdose Awareness Day, which is August 31st. In addition, item 7, there's an amendment to that item to incorporate a resolution. In addition, the fiscal impact statement, the not-to-exceed amount has been increased from $270,000 to $285,000. You did receive an email on that earlier, and in addition, you do have a packet before you on the dais. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Can I get a motion approving the agenda as amended?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Thank you. On our consent agenda this evening, we will be pulling items 1, 2, 3, and 4. So item 5 will be eligible for discussion during audience to be heard. We're pulling 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, that takes us up to our special presentation. Good one. 2025 Nick Criolla Heroes in the Community Awards. Raphael Katz, Vice Chairman of the Parks and Rec Advisory Board, will present the 2025 Nick Criolla Heroes in the Community Awards to Gwen Lees and Donald Farrington. Rafi, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Very good.
Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, members of the public, thank you. I am here to present this award on behalf of Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. I am the vice chair, and I'm the one presenting today because one of the people getting the award is the wife of the chair. And I should start with a little bit of a history about the award we're giving here today, which is the Nick Criolla Heroes in the Community Award. This award was established by the Parks and Rec Advisory Board, and particularly Ted Afflin, to honor a former employee of the Parks and Recreation Department who lost his battle for his life on July 23rd, 2002. And some of you here who have been around long enough would remember him as Nick, Big Nick, or Coach Nick. His name was Nick Criolla, and he was a loyal, dedicated, enthusiastic, and professional individual. I've been told, I never got to meet him, unfortunately, but if you looked in the dictionary next to the words just used, in parentheses, you'd see the name Nick Criolla. Nick was a son, brother, husband, and friend to all. He was an administrator and coach, but above all, Nick was a teacher. He taught not only the fundamentals of sports, but he also taught to the kids the fundamentals of life. He never gave up. Many close to him never heard him say, "Why me?" He had the support of his fellow coaches, players, and coworkers, and many friends, and he fought courageously for 2.5 years with that support. Nick was a true hero in the community, and that's why we continue to honor him today with this award. Before presenting this award for the new recipients, I would like to just name a few of the former recipients of the award. Sally Holderness, Sam Sworn, Melvin Howell, Margaret White, Tyler Townsend, and Nemia Schulte. You can stop by the Civic Center and see the plaque with all the community members who have been awarded this, and you can see the names of the new awardees, recipients, coming up very soon. So the first award we'd like to award is to Gwen Lays. Gwen has been very active in the Pompano Beach community. She has a passion for working, I can't read, man, I'm sorry, this is, even with my glasses. She has a passion in working toward the goal to provide educational and fun opportunities to the children living in Pompano Beach community. Ms. Lees has been a part of the city's Education Advisory Committee since 2015 and continues to this day. As part of that committee, she's chaired the annual Mental Health Symposium Town Hall event. It provides a great resource to the residents of Pompano Beach. She's also been active with the Education Appreciation Subcommittee, and she's a dedicated and active member of that committee. Since 2016, she's been a K-Kids advisor at Pompano Beach Elementary. That program provides volunteers to read to the students. I'm going to ad lib here, and I'll tell you that if you've ever been to Pompano Beach Elementary or seen the students there, that is a fantastic service because a lot of these kids have nobody to read to them, and it's really a special thing. So thank you for that. With the dedication of Ms. Lees to the High School Key Club, is also active in Pompano Beach High School Key Club, and she's active in community relations and educational experiences. The list goes on. She's also a member of the Pompano Beach Kiwanis Club, where she took an active role in the club's project to install the free little library boxes you've seen in children's playgrounds at Community Park, and Ms. Lees has also taken it upon herself to make sure that library continues to be stocked with books for children. She's also a member of the Pompano Beach Women's Club, I don't know where she finds time, and serves on the club's scholarship committee. Under her leadership this year, a student from Pompano Beach High School and Ely High School received scholarships to assist further education. For many years, Ms. Lees has created a positive influence for numerous children living in Pompano Beach, and this can be seen by the success of the lives of the children that she's provided influence and guidance through her work for the various civic organizations. For Ms. Lee's many years of positive influences on the lives of children living in the city of Pompano Beach, we award her this award. Please. It's an honor to award this to you on behalf of the Parks and Rec Advisory. And tonight we have 2 awards, but if you want to say something, feel free.
Just a couple of words of thank you. I just want to thank all of the folks here in Pompano Beach, all of our city managers and commissioners for being so welcome to Richard and I when we came down here in 1991 from Philadelphia. You made it very easy for us to get involved, and we have just loved every minute of the service we've been able to give. We get back so much more. So thank you again, Pompano Beach, so much appreciated.
If there was an award that you could give to couples, this would be the award. I mean, I don't know anybody puts more time in than the Lees. It's insane. Next person that we have an award for is Donald K. Farrington Sr. Mr. Farrington is a devoted husband and father of 6, and he has consistently demonstrated a deep commitment to his community. From 1983 to 1990, he served as a defensive coordinator for the Deerfield Packer Rattlers, coaching youth football players ranging in age from 8 to 15. And in 1990, he continued this service with the Pompano Beach Cowboys, where he spent the next decade as an assistant coach. And look, a lot of guys coach, a lot of people do stuff, but Mr. Farrington stands out because he was more than a coach. He became a mentor, father figure, and big brother to so many countless young men's lives. He not only taught them the fundamentals of football, but also imparted valuable life lessons. His support extended well beyond the field, ensuring the boys had essentials, including food, clothing, and other personal items often out of his own pocket. Mr. Farrington's unwavering dedication, mentorship, and generosity have left a lasting impact on the lives of many, and his decades-long service makes him a truly deserving recipient of this award. And we're giving two this year because they were so well deserved. Thank you.
Truly heroes in our community. Thank you all for your volunteer services, seriously. Big round of applause for those two. You know, we do so many people in our community that do give back, and it's great to be able to recognize them from time to time with things like the Heroes in the Community Award. So thank you. Thank you, our Parks and Rec Advisory Committee, for coming up with that award, and also for coming up with the selections each year for us. Thank you. All right, that takes us up to our proclamations. The first one is Florida Water Professionals Month. Let's see. Mr. Watson, you in the house. Here we go. All right. Whereas the Florida Water and Pollution Control Operators Association is a nonprofit trade organization that promotes the sustainability of Florida's water utility industry through workforce development to protect the health of Florida's citizens and to preserve the state's water resources. And whereas this organization offers water and wastewater treatment plant operator and water distribution operator training courses required for the state of Florida's operator licenses, 8 volunteer certification programs, and continuing education programs for operator license renewal. And whereas this organization, in recognizing the importance of Florida statutes and the administrative code that regulate the water industry, acts as a liaison between the Florida Department of Environmental Protection and industry personnel. And whereas the Florida Water and Pollution Control Operators Association recognizes all who have played a significant part in operating and maintaining drinking water, wastewater, and stormwater systems in Florida by celebrating Florida Water Professionals Month, which applauds their constant efforts to protect our health and environment. And whereas water professionals are essential first responders as defined by Florida statutes 403.865 sub B during storms and other catastrophic events, working tirelessly to ensure the delivery of safe drinking water and the safe disposal of wastewater in our communities. And whereas the City of Pompano Beach is proud to recognize the dedication and service of our local water professionals and all those across the state who serve with excellence and commitment in safeguarding public health and environmental resources. Now, therefore, I, Rex Harden, on behalf of the entire City Commission of Pompano Beach, Florida, do hereby proclaim August 2025 as Florida Water Professionals Month in the City of Pompano Beach and urge all residents to join us in recognizing and celebrating the vital contributions of water professionals throughout our community and the state of Florida. On this 22nd day of July, 2025, Rex Harden, Mayor. Can't think of a more precious resource, and that's our water. Mr. Watson, care to say a few words?
Good evening, everyone. Nathaniel Watson, Acting Utilities Director. Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Management, and fellow residents of Pompano Beach. On behalf of the Florida Water and Pollution Control Operators Association, I am deeply honored to accept this proclamation recognizing August 2025 as Florida Water Professionals Month here in the great city of Pompano Beach. This recognition is not just a celebration, it is a meaningful affirmation of the vital work performed every day by the thousands of water professionals across our state. These dedicated men and women operate behind the scenes to ensure the delivery of safe, clean drinking water to our homes and businesses. As members of the community served, they also manage reclaimed water, wastewater, and stormwater systems with vested interest and care. Their efforts maintain public health, protect our natural resources, and support the very infrastructure that sustains modern life, not just for today, but for future generations. We are particularly grateful that the proclamation highlights the role water professionals play as first responders, especially during hurricanes, flooding, and other emergencies. It is during these critical times that their quiet heroism becomes even more apparent as they work long hours in difficult conditions to protect public health and safety. This association has always believed in the power of training, certification, and continuing education tools to strengthen the industry and empower individuals. We are proud to partner with the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, utility agencies, and municipalities to uphold the highest standard in water management and environmental protection. To the City of Pompano Beach, thank you for your leadership in recognizing the invisible backbone of your public utilities workforce. To all the operators, technicians, engineers, water professionals, and support staff across Florida, and certainly for the City of Pompano Beach, we salute your tireless service and unwavering commitment. Let this proclamation serve as a reminder to every resident. Clean water doesn't happen by accident. It happens because dedicated professionals make it happen. Every hour, every day, all year long. Likewise, know that we do not take your trust or your confidence for granted. Thank you for this tremendous honor. And if I could just have the utilities team of the City of Pompano Beach to stand up and be recognized. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Come on up, yeah, everyone, come on up, let's get a photo. Most people never think about it, but yeah, there's people out of the water plant 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every day of the year, making sure we all get clean water in our homes and businesses. I tell you, it's truly unsung heroes. Thank you guys, and girls. Sorry. Adam? All right. Next up, International Overdose Awareness Day. An important proclamation all by itself, yes. Whereas, International Overdose Awareness Day is observed each year on August 31st, serving as the global moment to remember those who lost to overdose, reduce stigma attached to drug-related deaths, and acknowledge the grief experienced by families and communities. And whereas, the theme for 2025, One Big Family Driven by Hope, encourages us to address the overdose crisis as a shared challenge, treating each other with empathy and working collectively towards recovery and healing. And whereas, drug overdose remains a leading cause of injury-related death in the United States and profoundly affects our community, impacting parents and children, neighbors and colleagues. And whereas, overdose deaths are preventable through community education and compassionate support for persons with substance use disorders. And whereas, it is the responsibility of local government, health organizations, families, faith groups, businesses, first responders, and caring individuals to unite in raising public awareness, supporting prevention programs, and honoring the memories of those we've lost. Now, therefore, I, Rex Harden, Mayor of the City of Pompano Beach, on behalf of the entire City Commission and residents, do hereby proclaim August 31st, 2025 as International Overdose Awareness Day in Pompano Beach, and call on our citizens to pause in remembrance of lives lost to overdose, acknowledge addiction as a treatable health condition deserving of dignity, hope, and help, and advocate for policies and programs that save lives and support recovery pathways. Done this 22nd day of July, 2025, Rex Harden, Mayor, International Overdose Awareness Day. Thank you all. Very good. All right. That takes us up to audience to be heard. Mr. Alfred, do we have anyone signed up for audience to be heard?
We do, Mayor. We have 8 speakers.
Very good.
First speaker, Michelle Lazaro, followed by George Berlenge. Okay. Patricia Rowley.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, staff, attorney. I know I gave you a big package, but look what you could have gotten, so enjoy the smaller package. And I'm going to talk about the fact that, first of all, let me say I'm not here on behalf of Hallandale Beach. I am here as advocate, citizen, resident Michelle Lazaro. I'm also here as somebody who has worked to pass an ordinance which stops the sale of puppy mill puppies in pet stores. In 2015, I came before this commission 10 years ago. I asked for the commission to pass that ordinance. We passed it unanimously on both readings. You had no stores at the time, which is why we passed it, but we preemptively, before you had them. Unfortunately, the language in your ordinance was rubber stamped, as some other cities had done, because they had stores currently selling. They left what's called a loophole, which is an inadequacy or ambiguity in the law or the set of rules, which is exactly what a loophole is a way to circumvent the actual law. So in your ordinance, it says 1 litter per calendar year per mother. And we asked your store, which is now selling puppies, your local store, your city manager sent one of your, I guess, code enforcement or somebody along those lines to go out and see where his dogs were coming from, where his dogs were bred. And to your staff's defense, I can understand why he said, we can't prove this. And you know why he said that? Because this is what you need to prove it. This is something that most people are not going to be able to have access to on a daily basis. Now, we did some work on this, as you're going to see. And, you know, let me just say, we're not talking about the conditions of the store. We're talking about the sourcing of the dogs. Puppy mills are the only ones who sell to pet stores. No good breeder sells to a store. Any breeder that has 1 litter per year is selling direct to the public. They're not shipping from Arkansas, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, which is where all of his dogs are coming from. All of the store's dogs, I should say. So if you look at, just give you an example, because you have a big package, I just want you to understand what you have. He is only open since or I should say the store is only open since 2024, which doesn't give me a lengthy history to show you how many dogs. So I was able to pull some of the certificates of sale from 2024, and what it does is it shows you where the dog has been purchased in what state. It's what's considered a certificate of veterinarian inspection. I'm running over a few minutes, if you wouldn't mind indulging me.
Just very little.
Okay, and if you look at that, it has the USDA corresponding report with it. So when you look at these documents, just know that what you're looking at is a certificate and then the corresponding USDA reports. To 20 seconds. But I just want to tell your audience, so they know not to buy any dogs in stores, that the breeders that he has been purchasing from have had 121 dogs, violations 22, 23, 24, puppies that are almost dead, buildings that are 97 degrees, dogs that can't stand up. So I'm asking the general public to be aware that purchasing a dog in a store is not ever a good idea. Please go to your local shelters, and if not, go directly to a breeder. What I'm asking this commission tonight is that you ask, please, to suspend any new applications that are coming in while you're on break, so that no other stores try to do this while you're still deciding on removing the, we're asking that you remove the loophole from the ordinance.
Thank you, Commissioner Lazaro. Appreciate it.
Mayor,
Commissioner Seegers-Eaton?
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you for bringing this to our attention, Vice Mayor. Mark, can I ask the city attorney if he might be able to, if his office, if we all agree, could take a look at the ordinance and make sure that it is doing what it was intended? And if there is a loophole, maybe we'll be able to tighten it up.
Mr. Berman?
Yep.
Certainly happy to do so. Florida sales of animals or dogs are regulated by Florida statute 828.29 Florida statutes. But we'll take a look. We had initially used Hallandale's ordinance that they provided us years ago. Things have changed and progressed, and we'll be happy to take a look and see if we can make it better than it is.
Yep. Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Mayor?
Vice Mayor?
I want to agree with Commissioner Seegers-Eaton on that. Some months back, I received quite a few emails on this in advance of the store opening, and then received a response from the city with all of the layers of entities that regulate this, from the state to the county to the city. And it is quite complicated to read and to understand if they're in compliance or not. So I would like to echo that and understand if there's a loophole and what the hierarchy here is of these rules. Thank you.
Very good. Appreciate it. Commissioner Fessick?
Thank you. Again, thank you, Vice Mayor. You were on the long list of folks I would have to agree with, fellow commissioners and our Vice Mayor. I think it's important that we take a look at this again. I would be interested to see, Mr. Berman, if other cities have since tightened their ordinances or made changes to their ordinances, so that if so, then maybe we could do the same as Commissioner Seegers-Eaton mentioned. Secondly, I would like to echo the Vice Mayor's concern relating to our hiatus, and would like to make a motion that we do pause things until we have had a chance to come back and look at things in September, to pause any new applications while we're exploring the potential for the loophole.
Oh, okay, so it's a motion to
Pause all applications for stores, if you will, until we come back and have a chance to look at whether this is a loophole or not.
Can we do that?
I don't know, that's why I was
that legal?
I was going to ask, is there a second first?
I'll second it, but is that
Okay, it's
legal?
seconded. Now, Mr. Berman, it's,
Well, you're basically imposing a moratorium that really should have public notice and opportunity for the public to come and debate, and other owners. I think nothing's going to first of all, we got one store. That's it in the entire city right now. I don't think they're lining up. I don't think it's a problem right now, but we'll be back in September in a couple of weeks, and we'll have something for you then. I don't think you can stop legally just on a quick motion without notice to anybody who may be, but.
It's fair. I can amend my motion to then ask that it be on our first meeting in September.
We'll try and have something for you by that time.
Thank you.
Got a few weeks, unless you give me other stuff to do. Should be
We're
good.
taking a vacation, Mark.
All right. You get a vacation, I don't get a vacation. Thank you.
okay, so then,
I'll amend my motion to just ask that it be added to our September 9th agenda. I think it's, thank you.
okay, the moratorium or,
Right, I said I withdrew my previous motion and changed and instead made a motion to have this particular item come back at us on the September 9th agenda.
do you want, as a discussion item or
As a discussion item, it's going to be a month. I think we have time to have this.
Respectfully, if there are any changes, I'll try and bring you back an ordinance for your consideration by that time.
Perfect, thank you.
And try and save the small talk and the discussion. We can do the discussion with the ordinance if there are any changes. We'll move on it. I don't even need a motion. If you just tell me to do it, I'll do it. I mean,
Okay, go ahead and do it. Thank you.
thanks.
I'll withdraw all the motions then.
You got
Okay.
the videotape and the audio, in case I don't, so you don't need a motion.
very good. Next speaker.
Good day, Mayor, Commission. Thanks for having me. My name is George Berlingi, 41 Havenwood Drive, Pompano Beach. For those who've not had me speak before, I'm also a member of the Lord's Gift House, which is a mission of First Baptist Church of Pompano. And this ministry is also a member of Community Court. I come to speak to you today about aspects of homelessness in the community. I come in hopes of discussing deficiencies, finding unity, support, and solutions. With the 3-minute time limit, I'll not be able to get the whole message delivered tonight. I estimate it will take a series of 3 meetings to properly present the problems and propose solutions. I welcome all input to help solve this dilemma. Those of us working in the homeless arena have been seeing a troubling increase in those new to homelessness and trying to exit it. Before moving forward, I must tell you 2 terms of the industry that will be repeatedly used throughout this discussion: crisis and chronic homeless. The root of this entire presentation is that the chronic homeless, those who do not care to exit homelessness or accept the responsibilities of life, the nicest I can put it, get the greater share of all the resources, leaving fewer resources for the crisis individuals. To clarify, crisis individuals rarely have chemical or alcohol dependencies or any of the other big boxes that need to be checked in order to get the help that they need. To use a common statement from one of the officers at community court, and I quote, "We bring in chronics for help. We throw the world at them, and they refuse to use the resources." One of the goals of this series is to identify the wasted resources and money being used on the chronic individuals and reappropriate those resources towards the crisis individuals. In the last 2 months, this ministry has dealt with 3 homeless single moms. They have no chemical or alcohol dependencies, no mental illnesses, no HIV, AIDS, none of the big boxes can be checked. They do have low income, which qualifies them for the housing. All came to this ministry asking for help to stabilize and to get into a shelter to restructure their lives. One family was presented to community court for low-income housing and was accepted. However, none of these families were granted shelter for 2 predominant reasons. They are not alcoholics or drug users or any of the others. Also, they all have children, and shelter space for children is sparse. And North Hack only allows 2 families with children per night. To be perfectly clear, we need to look at the amenities that we are providing for the chronic and not take everything away, but reasonably reappropriate the waste to productively use it towards the crisis individuals. Please, this last sentence. We have created a system where a person in crisis must first turn to drugs or alcohol to get the adequate help they need. Thank you for listening. Thank you for all your help.
Thank you, George. Appreciate it. Appreciate all you do. Next speaker.
Pat Rowley, followed by Bill Sovars, followed by Brandy Sabadell, followed by Mike Seversky.
Good evening.
Good evening. I think you know I really hate speaking in public, especially here, but this is something I think I need to address, and unfortunately here.
Name and address for the record.
Patricia Rowley, 610 Northeast 3rd Street, Pompano Beach. During the last campaign, Commissioner Fesnick ran on promising transparency and accountability. During early voting, we experienced winds with advanced storm warnings. Ms. Fesnick campaign flew into my car and caused damage. She saw the aftermath of that night, and a few days later, I handed her a quote for the damage. I called her to follow up. She hung up on me. She ignored my following calls, texts, and emails until she sent me an email months later denying all responsibility. I have filed in a small claims court to recover the cost to repair my car. And I guess you could say I am here transparently to hold you responsible. Mr. Lang? Do I walk away now?
I'm sorry, what?
Thank you.
That's it?
That's it.
Not sure what's happening.
She's being
being
being served.
I'm sorry, what?
Thank you.
Couldn't wait for a break to do this?
Mayor, don't the rules of conduct at the beginning say comments are directed to the commission as a body and not to individual
Well,
commission
that's why
members?
I directed it to, the only one I corrected was to her at the last, the rest was connected. I mentioned her name, I was directing it to the body.
That's,
Okay. Are you finished?
The last one, yes, that was a little bit that I'm here to hold her accountable.
Oh, okay. You're finished?
I'm finished.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you.
but Mayor, I want to remind you that we've talked about this over and over, the rules of conduct, and that we are to be addressed as a
Right.
body, not as individuals.
That's correct. Very
Mayor?
good.
Yeah.
Commissioner Fasick, yes.
I will go ahead and just say thank you for this. I will have my attorney review it. I do not believe that what you stated was entirely true, and we did respond, and I will have my attorney follow up. Thank you.
Very good. Next speaker.
Bill Savarese, 761 Northeast 8th Street. My wife and I, we moved here like 10 years ago from Fort Lauderdale, and proud to have Pompano Beach as our new home. We raised 2 girls down there, put them through public school, and one's a lawyer, one's a vet. They did very good going through public school. And it was nice to hear how much appreciation there was for the young gal here earlier for all of her service, reading to kids and stuff. We really hold the educational system important in our lives. And I've been reviewing a lot of the things the city's been, tossing over, making priorities. I live right on 8th Street, so I'm just down the school from the elementary, middle school, and high school. And so it's always been apparent to me, when we first moved here, I think it was a D school, the elementary school. And I think it's up to a C now, which is fine. But in all the money that's being spent in the city, I wish we would appropriate more money to the school system. I know that there's, the way the budget is and the way things are, this goes there, this goes there. So in reading about several cities in Broward County that are having an issue with the BSO's recent request, I guess it is, it's more like blackmail, for this increase. I think it's out of control, and I look forward to this, I guess it's a feasibility study for $270,000 to invest in our local police. I think that's a really great idea, and I really want, as a citizen, say this is a good idea because BSO is out of control, I think. And the money that we spend on, for example, this feasibility study, which it's important, I guess, because it's a big move to have our own police department. But such a study should also be done in our school systems, because everybody's talking about, we want to make everything great here, attract business and people and revenue and more tax revenue for the city, which is all great. One of the key factors is usually schooling. You're not going to attract people to this community with poor schooling. So appropriating funds to school pays off big time, because if you have a well-educated population, well, you're not going to need as many cops either, because people are motivated and engaged in a very positive way and to contribute to society. And I think, was I reading also the pension, increases with the fire department and everything. We love our pension. We love our fire department. I mean, police and firefighters have very good pensions. I'm a business owner myself, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't have that, but I think we ought to prioritize our funds better. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Next speaker.
Brandy, followed by Mike Seversky.
Hello, good evening. My name is Brandy Zabadal, and I live in Pompano Beach District 2. I am specifically here today to talk about the American flag that sits on Highlands Park. It has been torn and tattered for well over 6 months, but I have records date back from January, and I really think, and I've noticed that every single flag on this building flies high and beautifully, and so should the one on our park. I've sent countless emails. The veterans in our neighborhood have had enough, and I'm not sure how to rectify the situation. So at one point, they did fix the flag. However, the tree needs to be properly trimmed back, and then a reasonably sized flag, not a larger one that was there before, needs to be put back in that order, if that makes sense. So that's all I really have to say, but I would really appreciate it if we had some respect and we really took care of the flag that flies on the park that my children play at every single day. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. We'll see to it that gets taken care of. Next speaker.
Hi, Mike Skaversky, 1630 Southwest Fifth Avenue, Pompano Beach. What I wanted to ask is, the ice is obviously going all over the country. When they come to the city of Pompano Beach, will BSO be helping assist them, or you don't know?
I assume they would. They're law enforcement, but I'm not sure. I don't know how that works. That's up to the sheriff.
I mean, I don't think this body could pass this, or maybe they could, maybe they can't. None of you up here have a clue of what goes on in the streets, and don't tell me any of you do, okay? When they wear these masks and take some of these people in, we are getting women that are living on the streets raped. You're just giving some of these other people out there ideas on how to kidnap girls or girls living on the streets, especially ones that are high as a kite. So when you have ICE out there wearing a mask, picking people up, it's just giving others ideas. So if the city could pass a law that they at least have to show their face when they go arrest the people, then I think that's a pretty good idea. Because like I said, none of you have a clue what goes on out there. You've got girls that are overdosing on drugs. We have a paramedic here. He probably knows just as much as I do of what goes on the streets with the girls passing out all over the place, and a lot of them get raped. And it's a terrible thing what goes on. I feed them periodically on my own now, and the stories they tell me, because they trust me, are absolutely horrific. Absolutely horrific. And every woman up here should be pretty upset. And something needs to be done. Like I said, when they don't show their face, you're just giving other people future ideas on how to grab girls and throw them in the car that might be Hispanic or Haitian, which is what it looks like most of these ICE people are going after. That's all I have to say. Think about it. Think about women that get beat up and raped. Or do you? Or all you care about is yourself?
Thank you, Mr. Skaversky.
Mayor?
Vice Mayor?
Thank you. It recently came to my attention that Pompano Beach is one of, I think, only a couple cities in the county that have a 287G agreement with DHS and ICE. I don't really know what the implications of that are, but it is a partnership agreement between the national agencies that do immigration and our local law enforcement. So I guess as a follow-up to that, I would like to get some information from BSO about how we are using that, if we are using that in Pompano Beach, and what that actually means. Because I think there are only 2 towns or cities, municipalities in the county that have the 287G agreement.
287G?
287G, yes.
Okay.
It's an agreement between local law enforcement and DHS and ICE. So we are definitely one of the few cities, I believe, that has one, and I was wondering if it's just something that's executed that we've never really partnered with them on, or what we do with that. So, and what the implications are of having that agreement versus not having it. So, thank you.
Very good. Next speaker.
Mayor, the remaining 2 speakers withdraw their request to speak. So that concludes audience to be heard.
Very good. All right. That takes us up to our consent agenda. Can I get a motion approving item number 5?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for item 5. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Very good. Item 1 is a request for ratification.
Request a ratification by City Commission for emergency procurement of wastewater main repairs from DBF Construction in the amount of $308,544.29.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. This item was pulled by Commissioner Fessick. Commissioner?
Thank you. I just wanted to use this opportunity to ask for some clarification with different construction companies, and I fully support and appreciate the procurement for wastewater and fixing those items, the further repairs. But I'd like to know a little bit more. We've seen a lot of the same companies come through, and there's not a lot of information provided in the backup. So I would just like to take the opportunity to ask staff to begin to include a full disclosure of what companies are being paid by the city when they come in this agenda in the backup, so that we understand what our work history is with with these individual companies, so we can understand the pattern or understand what they're actually providing in services rather than just see it in bits and pieces. But that was all I had for that.
Sure. Certainly, Commissioner Nathaniel Watson, Acting Utilities Director. When it comes to a lot of the emergency procurement work, we did have an emergency procurement contract. So there were two contractors that you may have seen in repetition. One would be Mancon Incorporated, and the other one would be Reynolds Construction. The contract did give the city the ability, once we received bids from them, to go out to a third contractor to make the process more beneficial to the city. So in that process, DBF in this instance outbid those two particular contractors for us to get a better response and a better cost for that repair.
Perfect, thank you. And then, just to be clear, which fund is this coming out of?
This came out of the wastewater pumping fund.
Perfect, thank you very much.
The operational fund.
Very good. All right, this is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Please come forward. Just name and address for the record.
Yeah, Michael Skaversky, 1630 Southwest 5th Avenue. I'm not calling you a liar, but I find your information suspect. There are numerous companies that do this type of work in South Florida, and I spoke with one out west, and I'm not going to say about this company that we consistently hire some of the damage they've created, or a lot of the damage they created on my property. But one company out west, I don't remember whether at Sunrise or Weston, the guy told me, don't even bother bidding in Pompano Beach on certain jobs, and this type of job was one of them.
Very good. Further input from the public? Seeing none, public input closed. Vice Mayor?
Thank you. I remember when this happened on Federal, and we just had one on Cypress this week. Are there a minimum number of bids that you have to get before you start or you authorize the work? Because often these are emergency situations. It's something broke and we need to get it fixed as quickly as possible. So is there a minimum number that you have to get, or just a minimum number of contractors you have to contact?
Well, with regard to the contract itself, it's typically between the two contractors that share, and whoever is the most responsive bidder. And responsive could be who can respond quickly or who can actually provide a better bid cost. It really depends upon the nature of the actual incident itself. It's just that with regard to response and the inactive response of one of the other contractors, we reached out to DBF with regard to this. And with regard to the last comment, Vice Mayor, these are open contracts. They're open for public bid. If any contractor, when this comes up for bid, wants to go out and they want to bid for the contract, we certainly welcome all contractors. We don't shy away from anyone. If someone's qualified to do the work, we certainly entertain it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Further commission discussion? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fezzik.
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Sigerson-Eaton.
Yes.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fournier.
Yes.
Mayor Harton.
Yes. Item 2 is a resolution.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to execute a utility easement between the City of Pompano Beach and D.R. Horton, Inc., accepting a grant of perpetual non-exclusive utility easement, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. This item was pulled by Commissioner Perkins. Commissioner?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. We keep receiving things that are needed for this particular project with D.R. Horton. We did not know that the water meter and the sewer, all of that was needed at the beginning before the houses were built. Because there was something else on the agenda before this about something in your water department. I'm wondering, why do we keep going back and forward with this, and it was not presented at the beginning when those houses were first being built?
Good evening, Nathaniel Watson, Acting Utilities Director. Commissioner, if I'm not mistaken, I think the last item that came before this body dealt with a dry retention area for the development, if I'm not mistaken. And that is private. That had nothing to do with the utilities department. The storm drainage system on site, just like the water system on site and the sanitary sewer system on site for this particular development, is private. The developer, the HOA, will eventually own all the on-site utilities. What's before you right now for your consideration is that we are supplying water and sewer services. We have what we call point-of-service connections, and that's what these easement agreements cover. They cover the master meters, they cover the sewer manholes, where we go and we take a look at the infrastructure to make sure that there's no issues. And then back on the property is where the HOA and the association will maintain their systems.
But my question is, did we not know that the water meter and the sewer manhole needed to be put in place before now?
Oh, yes. We went through PAM, DRC. This went through the full development review. Once it got to the point, this was at the behest of the developer. They had to go out there and do survey work to actually come up with a sketch and legal agreement for the city to review. And then once we got that information and once we vetted it through the city attorney's office, we brought it before you. But we were just waiting for the developer to get us the information that we needed so that we can bring it before the commission for your consideration.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Please come forward. Just name and address for the record.
Tundra King, 124 Northwest 15th Street. So will the city be paying for this? Is there a cost associated with this?
No.
There's no cost?
The cost is being borne by the developer.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Further input from the public? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion, questions, concerns. Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Commissioner Fezzik.
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton.
Yes.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fournier.
Yes.
Mayor Harton.
Yes. Item 3 is a resolution.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to execute a second amendment to the service contract between the City of Pompano Beach and the Christmas Palace LLC, providing for holiday lighting and decor services, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. This item was pulled by Commissioner Fezzik and Commissioner Perkins. Commissioner Fezzik?
Thank you, Mayor. I had two comments related to this. I was just wondering when the last time this was competitively bid, or are we just reaching out to this same company because they've provided services for so long?
Good evening, Scott Moore, Parks and Recreation. It was competitively bid in 2023, and we plan to send it out again next year. This is the second amendment to this agreement.
And then I noticed in the back, so actually I had a resident reach out to me relating to the placement of lights to continue all the way to Northeast 5th Street. And I did mention it to our assistant city managers today, and I was assured that they would indeed be lighting all of the park north.
At last palm tree down there, a little short of 5th, but it's right there at the end.
The end of the park.
Yes.
Thank you. And then the last question I had was related to the actual agreement itself, where the city is paying for some of the properties, for example, McNabb Park and Backyard Barbecue. And it says to the tune of about $31,000. And given that the CRA leases the park, I was told that they would not be able to fund that $31,000, but if they're in charge of making things look good and keeping things upkept, and they can put banners on those park fences, could they not Mr. Berman, could they not then also pay for the lights and maintain the property?
Mr. Berman?
Well, the question is that an appropriate expense for a CRA? Likely it is not an appropriate expense for a CRA to be paying for holiday lighting, so.
Okay, so we, as a city, will pay to the $31,000. Thank you.
Very good. Commissioner Perkins?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So we use this company every year, am I right? And we give them pretty much the same amount every year. So what we're paying them for is installation because they already have the trees and everything that we use for the garlands and all of that. So we're just paying them for installation?
Installation, and they take care of everything if we have any issues while it's installed. We are increasing the size of the Christmas tree at Light Up MLK as well, so that's an additional expense.
Right. So I noticed on here, it says Allied Culture Arts, I guess culture. I've never known any Christmas decoration there. Has it always been there? The Ally?
As far as I know, yes.
Yeah, because I've never seen any Christmas, but I notice it's here, and it's, what, $2,295?
It will be there then.
Okay, let's see what happens there. And also on MLK, I think it said 12, I guess, street lights where you're gonna put a garland. I've been complaining about that for years based on how it looks. They're not really nice and decorative on MLK. But can we also, in the future, consider putting some decoration on 27th in Cayu City?
Absolutely.
And okay, and that's it.
Very good. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Please come forward. Just name and address for the record.
Good evening, Cheryl Rising, 520 Southeast 10th Avenue, Pompano. My question is regarding the Christmas tree, and I think it's the Hanukkah on top of the building here. Is that part of what the Christmas Palace will be doing?
I believe the Christmas tree we do in-house. Is that correct? Yes, we do that in-house, not from the Christmas Palace.
My comment is relative to, as a Christian, why we can't have a star on top of it and why the Hanukkah lights that are there cannot be lit. Why aren't we recognizing in full both seasons, both celebrations? I don't see why that would be offensive to anybody, and it really bothers me when I drive by it. And I imagine it bothers a lot of people. So I just ask for you to consider that. You know, I don't see why anybody would be offended. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Mayor.
Appreciate it. Mr. Berman?
I can answer that if you want a quick answer.
Okay, sure.
The Hanukkah decorations, first of all, Hanukkah is a religious celebration overall, but there are symbols of the holiday. We can light them as a whole, but we don't here at City Hall light them each and every day to show and celebrate each day of Hanukkah, each one after the other. You can light it up or show it or display it just as a symbol of the holiday, and that's why we don't celebrate the religious aspect of it as a public building. Thank you, Mayor.
Very good. Further input from the public on this item? Please come forward. Just name and address for the record.
Jocelyn Jackson. With the decorations, when you go to the other cities, like they really be lit. Like Delray Beach on Atlantic Boulevard, and also going down near the Hard Rock. How can we get those nice exotic pieces that hang on the poles? Is that in the budget? That's what I need to be asking. Is it? I'm just asking.
Well, appreciate your input.
Yeah, that would be nice to have coming down all the way from Dixie Highway, all the way down to Power Line. Have it real, have it nice. Since we do have the exotic tree there, that'd be nice if we get, the nice ones. Hope it's in the budget.
Very good. Further input from the public? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion. Vice Mayor.
My question is about the timing of putting up the lights. Every year I get emails when people start getting anxious that things aren't going up. So when When does it go up and how is that determined? Because we spend a lot of money, people want to make sure it's up for a long duration of time.
According to the contract, lights are supposed to be up by October 31st.
October 31st.
October 31st.
Halloween,
So
okay.
as long as weather and nothing else plays a factor, it's supposed to be up by October 31st, and we'll light a lot of the pieces by November 15th.
Is that different? Because in the last few years, it's been a week into December, a week or two, and people are like, when is it going to happen? So
So the lights will be up. You won't
light them, okay.
light them until middle of November.
Like maybe post-Thanksgiving or something? Okay. But it does sound like we're going to have them up for longer and lit for longer this year.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Further commission discussion? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fezzik?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Sigerson Eaton?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fournier?
Yes.
Harden?
Yes. Item 4 is a resolution.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to execute a grant agreement between the City of Pompano Beach and the State of Florida Department of Health, accepting a grant in the amount of $349,000 to establish and maintain its Community Action Support Team program to provide care and social support services, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to accept the grant and to execute all appropriate documents, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. This item was pulled by Commissioner Perkins. Commissioner?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Cassandra Rett, is she our Housing and Social Services Manager? Are you?
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commission. Cassandra Rett, Housing Social Services Community Court Manager.
Okay, great. Now, who is the peer support specialist?
So the peer support specialist is a program. It's going to be a person that we're going to hire for the grant.
Okay, and that person will be the program coordinator?
No, it would be the peer specialist. We're hiring 2 people.
So it's 2 people, so you're going to hire a
Peer specialist.
peer specialist and a program coordinator?
Correct.
2 positions, and they will be working with you?
Correct.
Directly with you? Okay, so that will be 1, 2, 3, so there'll be 4 people in your department now, right?
Correct.
Okay, great, thank you, that's it.
Very good. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion, questions, concerns. Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Commissioner Fezzik?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Sigerson Eaton?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fournier?
Yes, anything that helps Cassandra.
Thank you.
Mayor Harden?
Yes, that takes us up to our regular agenda. Item number 6 is quasi-judicial in nature. Mr. Berman will discuss the procedures. Mr. Berman.
Thank you, Mayor. Anyone who wishes to testify on item number 6 must be sworn in and may be subject to cross-examination by the City Commission or by interested parties. Individuals who address the Commission should state their name and whether they have been sworn. City staff will make its presentation first, followed by the applicant or anyone else wishing to testify. Following the concluding remarks of the applicant, the hearing will conclude and the City Commission will make its consideration. All those who wish to testify on item number 6, please stand at this time, raise your right hand, and the city clerk will swear you in.
You solemnly swear or affirm that the evidence or testimony that you're going to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Thank you.
Item number 6 is the first reading of an ordinance.
It is. But my page is turned, so give me a second to get back.
Here, Mark. An ordinance
Here we go. An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, abandoning that certain 30-foot wide cross-access easement for 1 North Andrews Avenue, located approximately 340 feet west of the northwestern corner of Atlantic Boulevard and Andrews Avenue, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Good evening, Ms. Dolan.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission, Jean Dolan, Development Services. This request is to abandon a 30-foot wide cross-access easement, which is located on the west side of the Wawa site at 1 North Andrews Avenue, approximately 340 feet west of the northwestern corner of Atlantic Boulevard and Andrews Avenue. The easement is no longer necessary because the industrial development to the west will be constructing a shared access onto Atlantic Boulevard that will shift Wawa's access approximately 40 feet to the west. As this cross-access easement is no longer providing the public benefit for which it was created, the review standards for an abandonment have been met. On June 25th, 2025, the Planning and Zoning Board unanimously recommended approval of this abandonment with one condition, which has been met, and staff recommends approval. The applicant is present if there are any questions.
Very good. Thank you for that. Does the applicant wish to make any presentation or just questions? Very good. Just questions. Thank you. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion.
Yes, Mayor.
Commissioner Perkins.
I'm glad you're showing this map because I couldn't understand the map in the backup. So where the red is where they want to, that's the 30 feet?
Yeah,
that
that's
area?
the existing cross-access easement.
Okay, so in the future, do they plan to put a warehouse there?
The warehouse will go on the property to the north. The Wawa will stay where it is.
So to the north of the Wawa will be the
That's an industrial development.
industrial, okay.
The new access, the site plan for that warehouse to the north, and the shaded area will be the new access that will be shared between the industrial to the north and the Wawa.
Okay, good. That was the question I had, was the driveway, okay. Okay, and it won't interfere with the crossing of the railroad track there? That won't be
No.
okay. All right, and that property is already owned by Wawa, is that correct?
Yes, it's fully developed.
Okay, great, thank you.
Very good. Further commission discussion? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fezzik.
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton.
Yes.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fournier.
Yes.
Mayor Harton.
Yes, and that ends our quasi-judicial proceedings. Item number 7 is a request for approval.
I believe is it a resolution? Have we switched this one, or?
It says
It's a resolution.
Resolu-
It's a resolution, yes.
Thank you. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the award of RLI 25-054 to Raftellus Financial Consultants, Inc., to complete a study that will provide a comparison of the current BSO contract versus the city establishing a standalone police department for the City of Pompano Beach for an amount not to exceed $285,000, authorizing the proper city officials to execute the agreement between the City of Pompano Beach and Raftellus Financial Consultants, Inc., providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Good evening, Ms. Rivera.
Good evening. My name is Mary Rivero. Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and the Commissioners. I'm here this evening with a recommendation to approve an award and the ability to negotiate a contract with Raftellus in partnership with the Center for Public Safety. At the request of the Commission, we went out for solicitation, a request for letters of intent, and we went out on April 29th. We put out a solicitation, publicly advertised. It closed on May 22nd. We received 5 responses. We also had a bidders conference, and we had an evaluation committee meeting that was held on July 1st with a subsequent meeting with presentations. From those 5 vendors, we shortlisted to 2 vendors, which were the highest ranked vendors, and the committee then on July 10th deliberated where there was a tie. Therefore, it was at the recommendation of the committee that we would enter into negotiations and try to create a partnership as both companies provide individual areas of expertise. One with Raftellus being the expert on the financial analysis aspect, and the Center for Public Safety more on the boots, ground on the boots, more operational in terms of experience here locally with BSO. So from the efforts of that, we went ahead and we are requesting for an award for Raftellus, which would take the lead in the partnerships for the Center of Public Safety. And we have divided the solicitation, broken down the work where they would have, though Raftellus would be the one responsible for providing the report, they would be in combination and aligned, obviously, with different deliverables that would be the report that we would provide with the recommendation of the analysis that they're going to provide, the assessment, comparison of current BSO market analysis, benchmarking with other cities, and what it would cost us should the city decide to do a standalone police department, and what it would look like with the cost to move forward with that, should it be the will of the commission. So I seek today the approval for this contract in order for us to start that very tight timeline, which was expressed in the solicitation of 120 days, though all the respondents did think that was very, very aggressive. So we're looking at something around 160 days to bring something back for the commission to then review what that analysis and assessment would be, and then you would be able to decide what those options would be. Thank you. I will pause for any questions.
Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Please come forward. Just name and address for the record.
Jocelyn Jackson. I know these past commissioner meetings we've been having been very firm about our budget, about the monies. Now, $270,000, is this for a consultant to negotiate to see if City of Pompano Beach would be better off with their own police department than BSO? Is that what this?
Yes, it's to bring back data to the commission to help us make that decision.
Right. And I hear Vice Mayor Fournier says it. I hear you talk about it, Commissioner Fezzik, the money with the consultants. This is pretty pricey. It's pretty pricey. This almost $300,000 just for them to see if we able to have our own private police department, which I think we should have looked prior when we had one before that was not successful. You kind of can look at those numbers, but to hire, and I'm giving my own personal opinion, I'm not going against you guys, so I don't want to sit down and say, oh, your consultants go against the diets. That's not what I'm doing. So when you look back when we had our own law enforcement before, you look at the numbers and you look at the statistics and you look at now who we have. I think that will be something for you to consider when you're looking at numbers before we pay this almost $300,000. And that's just my opinion. That's when I want to get some clarity of what the 270 was for. Okay.
Very good. Next speaker. Please come forward.
Mike Skaversky, 1630 Southwest 5th Avenue. I agree with Jocelyn for once. Maybe never again. This was done before, wasn't this done before for free? Like, or didn't we have somebody look into this several years ago? Was it done free? Do you remember what the cost was? Does anybody remember what it cost?
It was years ago, though. The Wildan Company was named.
Who?
Wildan.
Okay, well, in my opinion, for this amount that we're looking at, we have a gigantic staff that works for the city of Pompano Beach. They could look into it themselves, use the old information, and make their own decisions on what we may be able to cut out or stuff like that. What does and what does not work. How do these people know what goes on here? I looked. I'm not helping anybody out like I used to, but I mean, I scanned through this. $195 an hour. They pay an associate for this company. $230 for a consultant. A senior manager is going to make $340 an hour. Do they subtract anything when they go to get coffee? I mean, this is ridiculous. $340 an hour to get, so we're going to take a 5-minute break to get coffee and have stinky breath and yellow teeth. This is a joke. No. We have a large staff here. Somebody here we can have 5, 10 people look into this instead of paying these people this crazy number. I mean, if you want to pay a group maybe, I don't know, $10,000, $15,000 to look at the old information and pull off the old information and see what can be done better at a cheaper rate and what doesn't work? Yeah, but to pay this amount of money to me is absolutely ridiculous.
Very good. Next speaker.
Dr. King, I think the amount is extremely high as well. However, I just can't put a monetary price on our safetyness. I think the Northwest has been slighted with some of the things that we needed with the police department. I can't even necessarily bring it on all the officers because I think Sheriff Tony could have done a much better job for us. So I think it is very important and vital for us to take a look at going back to our own police department. But I think the rate is a little bit high. But again, I don't put a price on our safety. You don't live in the Northwest. So I know there's crimes in other districts as well, but safety is big for us, and it remains at the top of the list as far as I'm concerned, more than any of these projects that we have going on at MLK. We're building a new project and I don't feel safe in my neighborhood on any given time. So yes, maybe we can revisit the amount for the consultant, whatever that may be, but we waste that on other things. I mean, we play the Sand and Spurs that much and not one child goes out there a year. So I think we just have to look at our priorities. And again, the rate is high, but we need to have this done. Thank you.
Very good.
Through the chair, if I may,
Yes.
I would like the after public speaking, I would like the
Okay.
opportunity to explain a little bit more about.
That's fine. Public.
Sorry.
Please come forward. Just name and address for the record.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, Patricia Williams, 1565 Northwest 7th Avenue. According to the documents, it says not to exceed $270,000. But according to the presenter, she said 285. I just want to know what's the difference between the two and why we're paying one over the other.
It's 285. That is the final number, not to exceed.
So I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
The additional $15,000 is going to come from where? Taxpayers?
Well, of course, that's next speaker.
Good evening, David Hall, 290 Southeast 8th Court. Not here to talk about whether or not we compare Pompano PD to BSO, because I think local command staff, we have fantastic and responsive folks, from the folks that are in command all the way down to deputies and everyone in between. I've reached out to many of them, and they're always responsive, and they do a great job. So I know there are challenging areas in Pompano Beach, but there certainly have been challenging areas in Pompano Beach for generations, so that definitely needs to be addressed. My concern is cost, and not the cost of looking at this study. That certainly is a big number. But if you went back to the Wildan study in 2009-ish, everything has gone up from everything we pay. So I imagine the study is going to go up in experts and people's salaries and all of those things. What we can't do is try to do it on the cheap. So hopefully the study comes with comparisons and contrasts of what you can do, because they can come up and say, hey, we can start our own new PD and let's throw them all into FRS. Well, we have Pompano Beach Police and Firefighters Retirement System. The police side is closed, obviously, but we have Pompano Beach Police and Firefighters Retirement System. You're going to want to put them in there. Okay, well, how do you start that? Because the police side is closed. If I'm a unioned police officer, I'm going to want to get what the firefighters get. And they're due every bit, because we have the best fire department around, right? And they do a tremendous job. But if I'm hired, I'm going to say, I want that. I don't want what FRS says. So there's going to be costs associated with that. So you need to make sure that we're getting apples to apples comparison and looking at what we provide other first responders, so that we're doing the same thing for our new police department. And we also have to pay top of the scale. There are so many municipalities that are 20% or 20 people, officers or deputies, that are just missing on any one shift. And the ones that don't have that issue are the ones that pay the most, right? So you go to Boca Raton and they have a pretty robust staff and they have their challenges. So we have to pay so that we're not an open breeding ground for kids to come in or people to come in, get experience, and then off they go to BSO or Boca Raton or Palm Beach County Sheriff Office, which pays tremendously. So we need to make sure that everything we do, we need to pay them well. We need to be top of the food chain as far as that goes. And we also need to be able to price in all the different things that a police department is made up of. SWAT team, SET team. I know the county has to provide that, but I'm sure there's going to be a contract city that's going to need SWAT at probably the same time we do. So if you look at our CST team, They do tons of operations. Something like 70% of the time of BSO's drug interdiction units or SWAT, a lot of that's happening in Pompano Beach, so we can't skimp on that either. And lastly, if we're going to go back to thinking how we used to police in the 90s when we had, and further back, policing isn't the same as it was then. And if you're going to talk about, not what this gentleman talked about with the homeless and the people who really need it, the single moms, but if you're talking about the aggressive panhandlers, we better open up our own jail too, because you're not going to be able to bring the homeless, aggressive homeless to the county jail because they're not going to accept them. So a lot to think about, and it's not just who's going to give us a better service. Develop every stitch of land in this city because it's going to cost us $100 million to start up, guaranteed, and at least $80 million a year like we're going to pay BSO.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Further input from the public? Going once, twice. Public input closed. Ms. Rivera, you said you wanted to...
I would like the opportunity to address the cost. I know that the emphasis has been on the cost, that it's large. We did do some additional diligence, and you know, speaking of the study that took place many years ago, I believe it was under $100,000, and actually nothing came out of that study. Was not very detailed, analytical, any type of study that when I reviewed it. I can tell you that the scope of work designed for this solicitation was very precise to what the request was, and I believe if the public has the opportunity to understand, their involvement will be crucial to whether or not this is going to be feasible. Part of the scope includes the community needs assessment, a department organization, operational planning, staffing, recruitment, budget, financial planning, right? These are the things that the city would like to know. Is it going to be feasible for us to carry out our own department, police department? After the study, a very well done study, it may yield that, you know what, we should stay with the current situation because of X, Y, and Z. Right now, we don't know that. We have all these assumptions that it's expensive, that we don't know, and then we're kind of in limbo. And I preach for this solicitation because of how it was written. It gives the city the opportunity to do the assessment. I can tell you that we did not choose the highest solicitation. They ranged from $150,000 to $350,000. I did negotiate the price down. I can tell you that for the requirements, and I have a breakdown cost by cost of each individual line item that we're requesting these vendors, because we're getting two of the best vendors, not just one. We're getting the financial aspect, which is Reftelis, and we're getting the Center for Public Safety, which is also very good and experts on this subject that are going to be able to give us the assessment that we're looking for. So the deliverables include the community. We're going to have surveys, we're going to have community forums, we're going to reach out to BSO to understand the market, how many calls, how many, you know, everything, which is very, very inclusive of all of the things the prior study did not include. So I just want to, you know, hone in on the fact that yes, it could look as it's pricey, but the reality is, if you take a look at the prescriptive scope of services and deliverables that are required for a report of this magnitude, it's in a very good cost. Thank you.
Very good. Commission discussion. Vice Mayor?
Thank you. I do want to start by thanking BSO for your service and your commitment to our community. We understand and appreciate the work you do every day, and this is a conversation that I think needs to happen, but it's separate and apart from the work that you do for us. So I am hesitant with consulting agreements, and I was very adamant that this cannot just be a feasibility study. Yes, you can do it, and this is what it'll cost you. What I need to get out of this is an implementation plan. So if we decide to do it based on the study, this needs to include, like, you push the button and go, and it is step by step how you roll this out over the next, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. So that is different to me than just a feasibility study like what was perhaps done 15 years ago. So I have been assured by Mary and the team that this will include a full implementation plan. So given that, I think we are paying for much more than just a feasibility study. We are paying for the hit the button and this is what you need to do. Now, the costs of BSO are also going up dramatically. I mean, this year it's up 6.6 million, and that's without us doing the increase in deputies that they've recommended, and we have another increase coming next year. So I think the timing is right to do this because of the cost increases we're incurring, and that combined with some of the other dynamics going on with neighboring cities. So I want to also make sure that we look at this from a regional approach, because if we can do this regionally, I think it'll give us the scale we need to make it more cost effective for our residents. So as we do this study, I want to make sure that we are in active communication with other neighboring cities who are facing the same challenges that we are, and that we get some kind of implementation plan or coordination of what it would look like on a regional approach. That's it. Thank you.
Very good. Commissioner Fessick.
Thank you. I actually would have to agree with Vice Mayor on this one as well. I had an interesting conversation with the former mayor of Deerfield Beach, and then I had another meeting with the current mayor and their current city manager. And they are actively looking at this process for themselves. And the reason I had the meeting was to just simply ask them the question, in the past, this has been so cost prohibitive to cities to take on this sort of level of going from a full service company to trying to handle everything on our own, especially with sometimes $30 million cuts to our budget, overall. So with the cost of everything going up, there were a few things that I would like to make sure that are included, and the regional study was a portion of that. I was told by our assistant city managers today that Ref Telus has agreed to do that and include that as part of our study. Is that correct?
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Are they willing to look at those neighboring cities? Is that something that is on?
Yes, that is definitely included, not only the neighboring cities, but the statistics of the Broward County and the neighboring counties as well. Not only some of those that I know you're referring to, which are the smaller ones around us, but also the ones that are a little bigger that might be outside of our boundaries. Those comparables are going to be included, and it's going to help us make that better decision.
Okay, and that would include pooled resources in general?
Complete, yes.
I want to just take I forget who came up here and asked about about the free study that we had done before, and that wasn't necessarily a study, it was a budget review committee that we had since disbanded, but it was somebody from the budget review committee who had reviewed it for free for us at that point in time, ages ago. I want to point out that even though the Wildan study left a lot to be desired in terms of an implementation plan and a little bit more depth, in 2009, that study did actually recommend that the city move to its own police department. So, and the costs, when you look at them in that study, even though the numbers have changed, if you look at the percentages of how you divide the cost and you divide whether you use financing or don't use financing, those things look very similar to the way that we do a lot of other things now. And so when I look at that year over year with different percentages, it may be very advantageous for us to see what that looks like in 2025 numbers or 2026 numbers, but also remember that if we also share those costs, then our costs may go down. One of the other things that was brought to my attention was that by managing things on our own, we could potentially have the opportunity to lower our overall costs by having administrative things done by administrative folks rather than everybody having to carry a gun or be a certain level of staff, which is currently the way that it's done. So I look forward to this study. I agree. I'm also usually very hesitant to spend money on consultants, but you have a bona fide company here, Ref Telus, that is being used nationwide and has a very long history of accolades And whereas some consultants that we've paid don't have that same long list. So for this, I feel that you guys have done a great job. I want to thank staff for getting the price to as competitively bid as possible, and I know that that took a lot of work, and I appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
If there's one other thing that I had mentioned that I was very interested in, I just want to make sure, very interested is in finding out also is, you mentioned the timeline. Will that be enough time to adequately look, 120 days or 160 days?
So the timeline, when we did the timeline, there's several contingencies on the timeline, of course. So I know that the consultants need to come in and they need to request information from BSO. And obviously, the good thing with this is the partners to Reftelis are very familiar with BSO. Some worked in BSO. So we believe that the connections that they have are going to be able to yield those documents, information, reports a lot sooner. So the 160 days obviously is contingent on several things outside of their possibilities, but we feel confident, or they feel confident, that they're going to be able to bring forth that information, as obviously it has to be made public through records, public records requests, and there's the law that you and statute that you must follow. Therefore, there's days and times that you must get those documents, information. So they feel confident that they could do it in 160 days.
Okay. And I know Mr. Harrison was attempting to negotiate a one-year extension with BSO for the time being. And I've gotten numerous emails and phone calls about that. Was that completed?
Yes, so we do have a draft agreement. We're working with Mr. Berman now just to tweak a few things. So it does take 2 readings to approve. We'll be bringing that forward in September for the commission's approval.
Okay, thank you. And the last thing is, I would just like to make sure that we add also, time and time again, we have everybody coming in here and talking about either, I love the way that you said it, the crisis homeless or the perpetual homeless, essentially. We have issues with aggressive panhandlers. We have issues with drug use in parks and all over the city, people just wandering the streets. And I know that in some instances, our officers that are working now, they know these situations, but they're unable to enforce certain municipal rules that we have because they are taking orders from Sheriff Tony. And I would like to find more out about how that, like what would be included if we were able to direct something from a municipal standpoint from our own police department or a combined police department. Would we be able to then enforce the rules that we have on our books? And if possible, because I like to create both opportunities, and if possible, would we be able to negotiate with BSO to allow our officers, if we were to stay with BSO, to do that for us as well? So those are the just 2 questions related to our homeless issue, our vagrancy, and other municipal laws we have.
I think I would defer to Mr. Berman.
Mm-hmm. Well, just to add to the study.
Okay, I thought you were looking for a response, but definitely well, Reftelis is not going to basically say if they can negotiate with BSO. That would be more city. Definitely, depending on the outcome of this assessment, we can come to the table and we can negotiate. And I've asked Earl also that I'd like to be involved. I did negotiate the BSO contract with the school board before, so I'm a little experienced on that, where we had our own police and we went to BSO and then we went back. Therefore, that is definitely a possibility.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate your work.
Good. Commissioner Perkins.
Thank you, Mayor. The increase of cost, was that done because we're working with 2 consultants?
Yes.
Is there a reason? Did I miss something that we have to have 2 rather than 1?
We don't have to have 2. So the committee, when they met, we initially, the first committee meeting, there were 5 vendors. We shortlisted to the top 2. When that second committee meeting took place, evaluation meeting, and they did the presentations, there was a tie where half was stuck on the priority of the financial aspect, and the other half was more focused on the actual police aspect. So we brought up the idea of how could we work together with both, because it would be very beneficial and in the best interest of the city. So miraculously, I don't know how I got both of them to come together.
Are they willing to work together?
They have a contract where they've executed, where they're working together. They're a partnership. I don't like to say prime and sub, but they are partners, and the work has been divided, and I believe it suits the city's best interest because we're going to get the best of the best in both sides, on the operational police side and on the financial aspect, which technically that's really what we want to know. Is it going to be feasible? Is it going to be cost prohibited? You know, what is it? And once, as Vice Mayor stated, if it is a go, here's the plan, and these are the resources that you need to implement the plan. So that's the cost. When you really look at both firms, you're getting a good deal, because when you combine the cost of both firms, it was going to be well over $500,000, right? If we really wanted to do both firms. But because we broke down selectively and strategically what each one was going to do, I was able to negotiate the price. And the $270 originally was a placeholder, because I've been working this for the last 2 weeks nonstop, and the $270 was more or less where I thought I was going to be at, but then there were some specific things that I thought were non-negotiable that needed to be included in the contract. Therefore, that's why we went to 285.
Okay, so they are to come back to us with, it's 160 days or 180 days?
So it's the solicitation called for 120 days, contingent on the information they would get from external resources. They're confident that we would get that in 160 days or less.
Okay, so let's say, for instance, this passed tonight, and they have 120 days, I guess starting next week or tomorrow, whenever, to get this back to us. Now, once we've been given this study, and say, for instance, they say, okay, well, we think it's best for you all to go back with your own City of Pompano policing, and this is how you do it. Once that's presented to us, do they just go away? Are they done? Are they completed? Or will they stay with us in the process of making the transfer after they've given us the study?
That's a great question. In speaking with them, their goal is to stay. In speaking with them, they even, in their presentations, they even mentioned that they're starting to see hybrid models based on the cost of having a helicopter. I'm just using the example they used, right? Where we may not have a helicopter, but it would be a hybrid model where specific resources and services would be by BSO, and then the other ones would be internal. So their goal is to give us, based on the market and based on the current data, not from years ago, but current data and data that they're going to statistically be able to bring forward to us, what the best current, solution would be for us. Right. It may very well be no, it may be a hybrid, it may be yes. And again, that is the dynamic of this contract that brings both vendors that are going to provide that. And I feel confident in saying that because I was present at the evaluation committee meeting, and the next thing was, because it was a tie and it was a toss the coin, and I'm thinking to myself, this is an important project. You can't just go on luck here. So we worked really hard to make sure that we can bring both partners together to give us the best result.
Well, there's going to be a lot of levels to this study, and I would love to meet with the consultants on certain levels of the study, because for me, it's not just all about the budget or the funds or the money. It's about effectiveness and keeping the people safe and making sure that we have that connection with the police force. So everybody knows that I've always, from the very beginning, said that I've always wanted to go back to our own City of Pompano policing. And as the gentleman said when he walked up, a lot of things have changed since that time that we were our own city of Pompano policing. I just feel like we could be more effective in that way as far as safety in the community and connect better with the police department. So I know some of the other commissioners as well would love to meet with some of the consultants. I know I do. So I can share some of the experiences in my district, and they can share some in their district, and we can all put, that together.
And that is part of the plan, actually. The number one is the community needs assessment and that involvement. So I'm glad you're
Yes.
offering to, but that was included in your input, the input of the different areas of Pompano. Some have more crime, some have less. So this community assessment forums where, it's going to happen. There's going to be active involvement from the consultants with the community in all areas, and understanding the need of the safety, as someone said, has no price tag on it. So thank you for bringing that up, because that is number one in the scope of work.
Exactly. All right, I think that's all the questions I have. That's it.
Very good. Commissioner Segerson-Eaton?
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, and then I've spoken with staff and asked a number of questions about the scope and the detail as well. I would say that I don't want to wait 2 years or 8 months, but I just think it's best that we give them adequate time for sure, and not pressure them if possible, because this is a huge undertaking, very complicated. You talk about helicopters, right? Can we afford a helicopter? What does it cost for BSO to provide their helicopter? What is our, let's say, our position? Will we be behind other cities if it's being used? And the hybrid element of it, the detective DNA labs, and all of the very expensive elements that go along with what BSO has and what they do. So the timing, I wouldn't say that we have to pressure them particularly. I just want a good job, because it is so complicated. And at the end of the day, I think you're going to see a huge startup cost. I mean, let's just talk about vehicles. Do we really want to put officers in used vehicles, right? So there's a huge uniforms, computers, radios, et cetera, office space, buildings, jails, and all of that. I mean, that is like an upfront cost. So in this, and as I said, I've spoken with staff and asked these questions, and I'm hoping that they're considering the soft costs as well, and the undefined cost, overtime, sick leave, and all of it, because to get where we have now, we're paying, going up to $70,000 a year, and then to pay up front all of the equipment that we need, and then still pay. We're going to be paying something, whether it be $50,000 or $60,000, million, 50 million or 60 million a year. We will still be paying that. But I can support this because I'd like a more definitive answer to what the realities are in going with their own police department, and to see if the residents will be in favor of paying for it. Thank you.
Very good. Commissioner Smith?
Done a lot of talking with residents over the last few days. From the commission, the only dissatisfaction that I've heard is the lack of relationships with law enforcement and residents and our neighborhoods. The crime numbers have never been mentioned in any of our discussions. In fact, our crime numbers year-to-date are down in all districts except for District 1 and District 4. District 5 year-to-date, the crime is down 8%, and citywide, January through June, our crime is down 2%. BSO's doing a good job with our crime rates. It's been 26 years since we moved to BSO, and the only analysis that was done in 2009, I understand, and hearing everybody talk, it really wasn't a comprehensive study. We couldn't get a lot of data and facts out of it. So I feel it's responsible of all of us to have a solid analysis of service and cost between a standalone police department, a hybrid police department, and BSO. I'm glad to see that Rafatellis, is that how you say it? Rafatellis is including a survey of the residents, because I think that's of utmost importance to find out how the residents feel about policing in Pompano Beach. I'm going to vote in support of the contract. I have concerns, though, that I'd like to make sure that they're addressed. Technology and the continuation of the crime center. We've worked hard in Pompano Beach to have an infrastructure with cameras and an infrastructure that supports a proactive crime center, and BSO has been extraordinarily proficient with getting that set up, and I believe that's a lot of the reasons that our crime rates are down. I also want to make sure that we address litigation protection for the city of Pompano Beach. And as mentioned already up here at the dais is how are we going to handle specialty units? Vice, narcotics, homicide, SWAT. How will we do that cost effectively? Unions, Dave Hall mentioned unions and benefits. When Rafatellis has completed this study, I hope that it's comprehensive enough, and I believe that it will be, that we will all have reliable data in order to make a go-forward decision about the future of law enforcement in Pompano Beach. What that looks like, we don't know yet, but it could be our own department, it could be a hybrid, as we've mentioned, or we just might be staying with BSO. So let's get our ducks in a row, let's get the study done, and let's make a decision that's best for the future of Pompano Beach. Thank you, Mayor.
Very good. Yeah, first off, I just want to say BSO, great job. Thank you for all you do for the city of Pompano Beach. And I want to piggyback on what Commissioner Segerson-Eaton mentioned. That's sufficient time. You know, saying, okay, well, 120 was too short, 160 they think they can do it, but I tell you what, if things don't come in on time, I agree. It's better to have quality rather than timeliness on this particular issue. It's too important. There is no gun to our head, so to speak, where we have to have this done in record speed. So I'm not saying it should take 3 years, of course not, but it's okay if it takes a little bit longer. And just to be clear, there is no implementation included in this contract.
There is a plan, a strategic plan for what that implementation.
But there is no implementation by any outside entity in this contract.
No.
Right. I'm sure there's people who would like to help us do that, but that's not included in this contract.
No, but as being part of the ones that created that implementation, obviously they would like to be able to.
Of course, and I understand. I understand that.
That was the question.
Sure. And that's a step down the road once we get the study and figure out what we're going to do. Very good. Any further comments from the commission? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fezzik?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fournier?
Yes.
Mayor Harden?
Yes. Item 8 is a resolution.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, relating to the provision of fire rescue services, facilities, and programs throughout the incorporated area of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, establishing the estimated assessment rates for fire rescue assessments for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2025, directing the preparation of an assessment roll, authorizing a public hearing, and directing the provision of notice thereof, providing for exemption, providing for a vacancy adjustment for mobile home park property, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Turn it over to you, Mr. Waters.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the Commission. Joshua Waters, I'm the city's budget director. The resolution before you this evening authorizes the city to impose and collect the annual fire assessment fee for fiscal year 2026. This is the preliminary rate resolution. The adoption of the final resolution is scheduled for September 15th, the date of the first budget hearing. The proposed rates in the resolution are consistent with what was presented at the budget workshop on July 14th and are needed to fund fire services and achieve a balanced budget for fiscal year 2026. For residential properties, the annual fee increase is $30 from $331 to $361 per dwelling unit. Rates for commercial, industrial, and institutional properties increase proportionally as well, but are imposed on a per square foot basis. The fee is the city's primary mechanism for funding fire department services outside of emergency medical services and is projected to generate approximately $34 million in gross revenue, which translates to approximately $32.3 million in net revenue for 26. With the proposed rates, the city's cost recovery ratio of net revenue to costs is projected to be approximately 81%. For the upcoming fiscal year, representing progress toward the city's historical goal of recovering 90% of eligible costs. Finally, it's important to note that in order to comply with the advertising requirements of the Truth in Millage Law, the TRIM law, the Commission must adopt the preliminary resolution prior to August 4th so that the city can certify the rate to Broward County Property Appraiser for inclusion in the TRIM notices that get mailed to residents. I'm joined tonight by Fire Chief McGinnis, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion. Got Vice Mayor, then Commissioner Perkins?
Not right now.
No? Then Commissioner Fessick? Okay. Go ahead, Vice.
Thank you, Mayor. I know there were many challenges this year with the budget, and I appreciate all the work that went into it from your team and from all of the city staff. And I also support our fire department and understand we have to pay for it, and we will pay for it one way or another through millage rate or through a fire assessment fee. But I do need to express some of the concerns I expressed at our budget workshop a week or two ago that I continue to have. And those concerns are the difference between the June budget we were presented and the July budget. So in June, we were given an initial budget, and the fire assessment fee was $10 lower than what we're being asked to approve here. So sometime between June and July, another $10 was added to the fire assessment fee, which is going to generate another $900,000 for the city. Also, the July 1st property values came in from the property appraiser, and they were higher than the prior property values. So there was a windfall there also to the city of another $500,000 or so. So the July budget that we are going to be asked to pass, in part including this fire assessment fee, is $1.6 million more than the June budget. And all of this money, these windfalls, basically, good news, came in. You know, we increasing the fire assessment fee, higher property values, and no one proposed giving any of it back to the taxpayers. And I said it last year, and I'll say it again, we are growing a lot. And I think it's for every 5 or 10% growth in the taxable base in our city, we should give some nominal percent back to the people in a slight tax cut, a slight cut in the millage rate. We did it last year. We cut the millage rate by 0.5%. We're not talking about big numbers. The tax base grew 9.6%, and we're talking about a 0.5% decrease, just sharing a little bit of that with the residents. And in this case, we are increasing the fire assessment fee $30, and we increased it a couple of years ago. It's up, 50% in the last 3 years. So we have been increasing this steadily to pay for the pensions and other costs of the fire department, and we need to do that. But I think that, like I said, these are all interrelated, the millage rate and this, because we have to pay for all of this one way or another. And I'm okay with the fire assessment fee where it's at, but we must give something back to the people, especially given the $1.6 million increase in the budget from June to July that the city just found a way to spend. They didn't find $500,000 of that to give back to the residents, and I think they should. So I am going to make a motion that the city comes back to us with a millage rate that is 0.5% lower than what they have currently proposed, the 5.2443. So it would be a 0.5% decrease, which represents about $500,000. in a $463 million budget. So I think a slight decrease showing that same trend every year is a good faith effort for the residents of our city that we're trying to do something and give something back given all the growth. So I would like to make that motion. Now,
Okay, it's been moved in second. I'm just to check though, I mean, do you want that, I mean, they can't do it tonight, of course.
no, they have August to come back to us because we don't approve that until September, but I want some options for what that budget would look like with that millage rate.
Understood. Absolutely. So yeah, so to get back to us, because our first meeting in September actually is prior to our budget hearings and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, okay, so it's been moved and seconded to direct staff to come back showing a 0.5% decrease in the millage rate prior to our first meeting in September. Yes, so it's been moved and seconded. And Mr. Berman, that's okay to make that motion during this motion?
Sure.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you.
So this is a public hearing. Let's go ahead and open it up to the public on this motion. Any input from the public on the motion? Please come forward. Name and address for the record.
David Hall, same address as moments ago. I love it. Reduce taxes all the time. We're raising a ton of money, as you said at the last CRA meeting. Revenue to the city and the ECRA, the Northwest CRA, and the city as a whole is a windfall, right? It's great. We have a lot of money flowing in. It's tough to give us a millage rate cut when there were votes taken that is going to cost us $100 million because we chose private financing versus public financing. So if you're going to talk about money that we need for perhaps a new fire department or a police department that's going to cost, I don't know, $100 million to start up, that's $200 million because you're going to have to float a bond for the $100 million for the police department. We're $100 million in the hole because we chose 8% over 5%. So it's really tough. I agree. Give us back our money. Manage it right. Manage it better. Get our roads paved and do all those things with all this money that we have. And I know you can't pull it from the CRA because it has to be done for certain things legally. But at the end of the day, it's tough to look at giving us a millage rate cut when we're in the hole $100 million over the next 30 years. That's $3 million a year. It's $3 million you could use to pave roads. $3 million you could do a whole heck of a lot of stuff with. And if we're going to cut and we're going to do those things, and we have to make hard choices about the budget and let some folks go or whatever the case is that we've done, let's stop wasting money on $2 million skate parks. Let's stop wasting money until we can afford it and give us back money in millage cuts, which I agree with the vice mayor all the time. I think we should be doing that and looking to do that first and foremost. Line one, how do we give back to the taxpayers of Pompano Beach? Let's start there. And then you work through the rest of your budget. But there's so many things going on that it's going to be tough to do, and some of it is self-inflicted.
Very good. Further input from the public? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion. Mr. Segerson-Eaton?
Yeah, thank you for reminding the public regarding that the private versus public financing that will cost us $3 million. Not us, not the city. It'll cost the taxpayers. And that's the bottom line, because all the money comes from the taxpayers. Yeah, and I think as we look, I would want to reduce the millage rate, for sure. We are growing, we're getting more money in, and from June to July, we got the exact number that all the calculations are being done on. But we have a shortfall. Half a percent is $575,000. And as Josh likes to say, it's a zero-sum budget. We have to find the money from somewhere. And yes, it's saying it'd be great. Yes, it is. But where are we going to find? How many more people are going to get fired or lose their jobs? I mean, seriously. And I want to get everything back. So I think the way I see it is we have the $460,000 windfall, instead of that putting and then in some nebulous aside that can be used for one district and other, let's start by giving that windfall back to the community. Because if you want to reduce it a half a percent, then you're at 460. You only have to make up another $115,000 to get to even. So to me, that seems like a simple place. That's the money we should be giving back to the community at the very least. And that isn't quite a half. It's 0.4%. It takes it down where a half down would be 5.2181. This will take it down to 5.2180. And I think that's the simplest, easy way to do it. Just, we got a windfall, we can balance the budget. It's not a half, it's 0.4%. And I think it's a reasonable thing to do, and nobody will lose their job. All right, thank you, Mayor.
Very good. Further commission, I've got Commissioner Smith.
What if we compromise and look at 0.25%? That's $290,000. Because the millage rate actually doesn't benefit those that have homestead exemption. Because the homestead exempted properties, the property values only go up 3% a year. So for those people that are a single homeowner, that are probably the ones struggling the most in our city, they're protected with the Save Our Homes and the homestead exemption. The millage rate discount really benefits those that have multiple properties, then they're not homesteaded. So I'm thinking that we should take a look at the budget at 0.25% discount on the millage rate instead of 0.5%. Just a thought. And no, that's it for now.
Very, very good. I just want to chime in here real briefly. Yeah, we can look at, we've got time. Staff can show us different scenarios, of course, they can. And staff is going to look at different things, like Commissioner Segerson-Eaton just brought up. So they can do a lot of this kind of stuff. They can give us what-ifs all day long. All we have to do is talk to them. I'm sure Mr. Waters, he's willing to work with us all. I know we've got the break, but still, we got some time before our September meeting. They can get all this information to us, and we can make those kind of determinations in September. What we finally decide as a body we want to do. It's good to have the options and see what staff comes up with, because Mr. Waters knows a whole lot more about the budget than I think anybody sitting up here. No offense to anybody, but that's what he lives and breathes. But that's my 2 cents. But Vice Mayor, go ahead.
I have a few comments. First, the millage rate does matter to your average homeowner who has a homesteaded property still. It doesn't impact as much because the value doesn't rise as much, but you're still multiplying the value times the rate. So it impacts everybody. With respect to where we find money, we just talked about a consulting contract, which it was a great conversation because what we agreed to do is hire a consultant for exactly what consultants should be used for. A discrete project where we're looking for an answer and we don't have the expertise in-house and we need that. So I guess one place to look for some of this money would be at consulting contracts for consultants that are ongoing at every year, that we're not really using as consultants, but are kind of part of our government here. So we could definitely start there. And then I want to address Mr. Hall. So you know this just as well as I do, and I think Ms. Sybil would say the same thing. The downtown project pays for itself, whether it's the private financing or the public debt. Through the increased tax base and the land sales, that project is supposed to pay for itself, right? So we're going to sell off these pads, and that's going to generate revenue. I've got the financial model in front of me. So my concern there is if we don't sell off the pads, then we're going to be in big trouble millage rate-wise, big trouble. And if you look at the project in Greenville that the same developer has done, they're 8 years into it, and they've sold off 0 pads. So that's what I talk about when I talk about the risk of that project. I don't want to put that risk on the taxpayers either way. I don't care if we issue bonds or if we go to high net worth individuals. I don't care where the debt is issued. I don't think it is the right thing to do to the taxpayers to put that amount of risk and that burden on them that these land sales and increase in tax base are going to materialize at the time scale that that's shown in our model, because the track record of Greenville and other of these types of projects don't show that happening. So my concern there is has nothing to do with the millage rate. That project is supposed to be self-sustaining. It should pay for itself.
Mayor, may I comment?
Very good.
So I mean, I did
Ms.
see,
Sybil, go ahead.
yes, I did see an article posted on social media about Greenville and Roca Point Partners, which is our master developer for the downtown. I just want to always be careful to put things into context. I mean, I would be happy to respond to that, to the commission as a collective body, in terms of the specifics related to that project and how it differs from Pompano Beach's project. So again, a lot of times you see news articles, I think we all can attest to that. You see things done on TV, you see things posted. Again, I just want to ensure that the record is clear, so I'd be happy to respond to that for the commission. And yes, you're right, Vice Mayor, we all expect a surplus from the downtown project, but again, public financing will be cheaper. So the idea is to have enough of a cushion, a greater cushion, so that if land sales don't happen when they're supposed to, which, you know, it is a model. I agree with you, absolutely, never disagreed on that. But I think we've cushioned the project enough to insulate it and to be as conservative as we can to ensure that we're not leaning on the general fund to cause an additional tax burden for residents. So I think we agree on a lot of things there, but again, I just wanted to say that for the record.
Very good.
Thank
That's
you.
fine.
And do get that clarification on
I absolutely would, Mayor.
for us.
Thank
But
you.
yeah, let's get back to the.
Yeah,
let's get
in
back
response,
to the-
yeah.
Let's
that's
get
fine.
back to the half.
100%. We can get back to that, but
That's good.
in response to that, the-
Vice, let's get back to the motion.
so
on the
why
floor.
is our city manager allowed to go and talk
Just-
about something else? but
Vice, you're the one that
we go.
brought this.
Well, no, it got brought up here that was going to impact
I-
our
I
millage rate, and I'm
understand.
explaining how that's not going to impact our millage rate
Very
because
good,
the
Vice.
model
I
shows that it does
I
not.
appreciate that. You had a chance, and now Ms. Sybil had a chance, so now let's get back to what we're really talking about, the half mil decrease. Any further discussion on that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, very good. Go ahead.
This is what I want to talk about. So I have, it's coming, Miss Rhonda. Just hold off, I'm coming. So I've always had concerns about the budget, especially when it comes to the taxpayers, of course. So in 2016, we were spending money in this city like crazy. Just writing checks. 2017, same thing. Not trying to save, not trying to cut back. 2018, we had several people to come to this podium that had a background in budgeting to say we're spending too much, we're doing too much. City, we're fine. 2018, 2019, 2020, city manager have a blank check. 21, 22, 23, 24, 2025. All of a sudden, we want to save money. All of a sudden, we want to cut people's jobs. All of a sudden, we want public financing because we want to save money. But from 2016 to now, we haven't tried to save anything. But all of a sudden, we need to cut back, we need to save. Nobody was watching how we were spending money over those years. And now here we are. I wish some of you could have been in those budget meetings. I mean, just adding new jobs, titles, everything, just all through the years. This city never tried to save money that I could remember. Now, all of a sudden, in 2025, we are. Here we are. So yes, we have to be concerned about the taxpayers, but I'm not moved by anybody saying anything about public financing. So if you want to use that as a ploy to say, well, public financing will save us money, why didn't you try to save back in the day? Why didn't you try to save years ago? Why now? Because we're in a rut, or we're in a place where we need to cut back? We can see the numbers are changing now? Is that it? So I've watched the movement. And I see where we are, I know where we are, and it's just something I think should have been stopped 10 years ago. But here we are. So everybody's fighting. I think everybody on this dais wants to help or not put a lot of burden on the taxpayers. We all agree with that. here we are. And we have to sacrifice something, I guess. So I'm done, Mayor. Any comments?
Okay. Commissioner Fessick, and then Sigerson Eaton.
Thank you. So just to be clear, we're talking about this percentage of the millage rate to return to residents. And I'd have to agree that when we're looking at this windfall that we have, there's from that July workbook, there is a 0.07 change just in our Go Bond. Let me find that page again. I just flipped over. Building our Go Bond, we seem to have some room, some wiggle room in that. I would like to see us reinvest and pay back the taxpayers who have graciously allowed us as a city and as a community to move forward with all of the projects that we have taken on over the past decade or 3 decades. We have, as a city, before I was even here, added time and life to CRAs so they could continue to do the good job they were doing, while those areas, 23% of the city, are collecting the majority of the windfall of that area, and the city does not. The taxpayers do not. When we have to add 30 years, from 30 years, we add more time, and taxpayers are asked to fund more expensive projects over and over and over again. We are not giving the folks who said yes the first time that payout. We're not giving them that opportunity. So the very least we can do, in my opinion, after extending the CRAs for years beyond and adding on all these other projects and all these other things, is to try to give it back to taxpayers by doing this the right thing when we do have the windfall through a millage rate decrease, even if it's a slight one. And I would like to see that model. Thank you.
Very good. Commissioner Sigerson Eaton?
Yeah, I'm in favor of lowering the millage rate as much as we can lower it. If it's 0.5%, I can support that, but I can only support it with the $460,000 windfall or the difference in the evaluation being part of that to pay for it, because that's the difference. Not quite enough to do 575. So I don't want to vote on something and without having input in how we're going to pay for it. So I want to vote to lower the millage rate, but I don't want to vote for something that I don't know how we're going to pay for it. I think we need to have that debate. I would amend the motion to include.
Commissioner, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you can't amend the motion yet, but we're not directing staff to reduce the budget by $500,000 yet. They're going to come back to us.
That was the motion she made. There is a motion on the
directed
floor.
staff to come back to us and show us how they can do it.
Okay, so we're not voting on the
They're going to have all kinds of
motion.
scenarios when they come back. So
Is she going to withdraw her motion then?
no, that was
No,
the
that
motion.
is my motion.
That was the motion.
Motion
It was
is to,
second, so
Yeah.
staff to come back. No, she said reduce it by.
no.
Come back and show us how we can reduce it by $500,000.
Okay.
So
Great.
that's what we'll be looking at in September.
Okay,
If
great.
this passes. So
No, I heard 0.5% specifically, and that's what I heard, so.
Like, maybe.
the motion was
Just to clarify, 0.5%, not half a million.
0.5%.
Big difference.
0.5%.
0.5%.
Have to come back in
99.5%
September with showing us what
of what it is.
0.5% in decrease in our budget.
5% if you want.
And we'll have time to look at that at our September meeting prior
Great.
to our final, or our
Great,
initial
well, I'm
and
just
final
saying,
budget hearing.
I'll tell you where I stand right now, is that difference in revenue, that contingency, that needs to be used to make up, because I don't want to see any more staff fired, or positions eliminated, or services reduced for our residents. Thank you.
Very good. Further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Commissioner Fezzik,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Sigerson Eaton,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fournier,
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
Yes. Okay, now we're back on the item, which is the fire assessment fee.
Mayor, I'm
Yes,
sorry, really
Ms.
quick.
Sybil?
So Josh just reminded me, just to be clear, the trim notice that goes out to residents will have the fiscal year 25 millage rate.
Yeah.
And obviously, you have the right to reduce it going forward. You just can't increase it. So Josh did want me to point that out so we didn't have any shock from the public when they received their trim notice in August. Okay, thank you.
Very good. Thank you for that. All right, so back on the item for the fire assessment fee, certifying the fire assessment fee. Further commission discussion. Commissioner Fessick.
Thank you. So I was also a little bit shocked when the number jumped from the extra $10. And I understand there's been a lot of work that has gone into this budget and on a very short timeline. So I want to, first of all, just give you kudos where kudos are due, because for those of you who do not know, Mr. Waters came to us fairly recently and then jumped right into doing our very crazy budget and has done so exceptionally with him and his team and staff. So first of all, thank you for the work that you have done. One of the things that I was thinking about when I was looking through this and looking at numbers is that back earlier this year, we had a storm water rate increase that was going to impact residents. And I think it was like $1.80 or something, like it was some minute, or $8, $9. It was some minute dollar amount, but yet at the same time, it caused residents to be very aware and loud about how that was impacting their budget on a month-to-month and year-to-year basis. The fact that we have increased, and again, look, we need services. So I'm not discounting the firefighters and the need for that, for what they need, and public safety should always come first, and we need to do those things. My concern is the jump of the extra $10 and how we can maybe circumvent any additional jumps moving forward when we have increased it over 50% in 3 years. I mean, what's being done there that warrants that massive jump over such a short period of time? So I would encourage us to look at how we are spending money and thinking about how we are doing things when it affects residents who are sometimes living paycheck to paycheck or on Social Security or whatever it may be, that these jumps of $10, where it sounds like $10, to us, it's significant to a resident and a homeowner. I also wanted to just point out, so to separate from that, we had a conversation this morning related to, and an email sent out this morning related to meeting the requirements for the trim notice. And so this, I just want to make sure the public understands this, regardless of what we do here, the trim notice requirements so that they can publish the information correctly. We can't go backwards from it, so if it has to be at $30 and it's justified and it's there, it would have to be justified there, and they need to publish this within the right time frame. And that's what city staff has told us through our email and our meeting. This is the first reading, so at a second reading, there would be the opportunity to potentially lower that rate or find out what Mr. Waters has figured out for us related to the millage rate or anything else. And then at that point, we would be able to potentially lower that. So I encourage everybody to pay a little bit more attention to the budget. It can be daunting, but I believe that if you really are interested in all the whys and hows and how we are budgeting for things to be paid for in the city, this is the time to really, really dial in and make sure you talk to your representatives and you pay attention to what's going on and look at this line item, because it is really, really important. So the last thing about the notice that we got today, about yesterday, about the need to do this trim, to say yes, essentially, for the first reading, to keep it alive so we could get this trim notice out, is something I've been talking about related to management style. We're always, it seems, up here in a hurry, when I feel like we all know that this has been pending, or we all know, management knows that this has been pending. I'd like to see us next year maybe have a little bit more of a grace period for things so that we don't get the agenda come out and then on Monday at 6 something, and then followed by phone calls or meetings, we don't get told that we have to do this because we have to be compliant and we're now on a time crunch. The issue is consistently that we are up here many, many times with contracts that are expiring, that we have to do something, we have to do something, we have to do something. What is our role here if we have to do things all the time? Instead of discussing them openly and giving our residents the opportunity to discuss them back with us and get the feedback we need. So I understand for this reading, I got the memo, and I understand we can look at it more in depth, but I just want to make sure that residents and taxpayers understand what that looks like and why we have to do that for right now. Thank you.
Very good.
Mr. Mayor.
The commission Commissioner Smith.
Mr. Waters, do you know what some of the other communities have done with their fire assessment fee?
Certainly. So I happened to look the other day. Fort Lauderdale's city manager is recommending going from $328 to $403 a year. For residential properties, that's a $75 increase. Coconut Creek, I believe the recommendation is to go up about $30.30 a year for residential properties. Hollywood, it looks like, is going up around $9. Oakland Park, there's no change from $25, but they did a $106 increase last year, I believe, in taking a look at the city manager's message with regard to that. And there's another increase in Parkland. After August the 4th, which is the deadline that the Broward County Property Appraiser has established for us to report to them, that's when all the municipalities in the area will report their ad valorem and non-ad valorem rates. And then hopefully I can get a better sense of what all the municipalities are doing in Broward County. With regard to the schedule of the, if I may, with regard to the schedule of tonight's vote on the preliminary rate resolution, the budget office tries to every year in the spring to put out a comprehensive calendar for the entire year that kind of lists the steps that have to be taken. Unfortunately, the budget is a very regimented process that's governed by all these laws at the state and local level. But just to kind of piggyback on that, though, there's certain deadlines that we have to have, and those are established every year, and we try to get those dates out and remind people as many times as we can about the different dates that we have to pass different pieces of legislation.
Very good. Wait. Okay, Vice Mayor?
Yeah, in response to both of those things quickly, it does feel rushed, and it does every year, but I think in part we don't even get the final property appraiser values until July 1st, right? And then that rolls into it. And then from there, it's a very strict timeline. So it is what it is, which is why 2 years ago, we did add in like an April budget workshop where we could all talk going in before we had the numbers going into the budget season about what we expected and what we hope to see. So I think that's been productive. With respect to the increase in other cities, I struggle with this one, and we had this conversation. It really doesn't matter because other cities could decide that they're going to fund 100% of their fire department with the fire assessment fee and jump it up by $120. So there is a link between the millage rate and the fire assessment fee in every city, and it depends strategically on how much they decide to fund the fire services through the fire assessment fee versus millage rate. So if you actually think we looked at this in our meeting, for the cities that have high fire assessment fees, they have lower millage rates. For the ones, so there's like an opposite trend. So and an increase might just be a change in strategy for a city. So it's not really something that you can compare.
In Pompano Beach, for both millage and for the fire assessment fee, is pretty much right in the middle.
Right.
In both, and actually on the millage rate's a little lower.
Right, but if you looked at the charts you have, the ones that have high fire assessment fees have lower millage rates. So it's kind of a trade-off on how you pay for things, but you have to pay for it one way or the other.
Very good. Further commission discussion? Commissioner Fessick.
Thank you. I appreciate, and I know that we are on a timeline. This was not that comment was not necessarily directed just for this particular item. It's just been a string of patterns. The other thing, while we're talking about budget meetings, is the budget workshop that we had on the 14th. When we leave, and what has happened in the past is we start the meeting here, everybody's gathered here, and then we used to go to the city manager's conference room, and go there to look in and discuss the budget as part of the workshop. This time, we went to the Cultural Center in a larger conference room, if you will. But it's been floated several years in a row that those meetings should also be televised. And I just want to make sure that I put that out there for potentially next year. I don't think there's a reason for us to have to get up and go anywhere, because I think these conversations and those things that happen within the workshop, where those questions have the ability to be answered almost in way more detail, that's something that we also need to have present moving forward. And that will help, I believe, residents to be able to voice their concerns well before it hits our first trim notice or the first, because we are on that deadline. So if we can make sure that those are done that way, then I think we'll be in a better space for residents to understand what's happening. That's all. Thank you very much.
Very good. Further commission discussion? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fezzik.
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Sigerson-Eaton.
Yes.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fournier.
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
Yes. Let's go ahead and take a 10-minute recess. please. Thank you. Commissioner Fessick. Commissioner Fessick. Commissioner Fessick. Okay. All right. Let's call this meeting back to order. Pompano Beach City Commission, July 22nd, 2025. Item number 9 is a second reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to execute a service contract between the City of Pompano Beach and Limousines of South Florida, Inc., to provide community bus service, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Good evening, Mr. McCon.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commission, Rob McCon, Public Works Director. The second reading of the ordinance is for a proposed contract between the city and Limousine South Florida, LSF, to provide our community bus shuttle service. The estimated annual cost is $700,000 based on the 4 routes and the hours of each of those routes. This cost is reimbursable through the Broward County surtax. The term of the contract is 5 years. That concludes my comments, subject to your questions. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion. Questions? Commissioner Segerson-Eaton.
Thank you. Yeah, I support this. There was an email from a resident in Leisureville, and apparently they've lost their TOPS service. You're aware? Are we looking into if we're able to do a loop somehow within that? I see we have both the blue and the orange lines right through there. So you're looking at that?
Yes, I'm aware of that. And
Thank you,
like
Rob.
you mentioned, the blue route goes right around the southeast corner of Leisureville. So the idea is we would just tuck that inside and stop at the community center with the expectation that won't change the head time on the routes. So we think it's a very doable thing. So we are looking in to do that, yes.
Okay, and I think the only difference between the two routes is one goes sort of to the south.
Right.
And the other goes up, I believe, all the way to Walmart.
Right, and the thought is we want that bus to be able to exit out onto Copans and turn right, because there's no traffic signal there on Copans.
Oh, no, you can't do that. That's too dangerous.
Right.
Thank you.
Very good. Further commission discussion? Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Commissioner Fessick.
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton.
Yes.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fournier.
Yes.
Mayor Harton.
Yes. Item 10 is the first reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to execute a service agreement between the City of Pompano Beach and A Excellent Service, Inc. for HVAC maintenance and repair services, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Good evening, Mr. Bonaventura.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Assistant City Manager, Mr. Berman. The item in front of you is an ordinance under the City Chapter Code 32.39, competitive bidding. This agreement consists of the scope of work requested under the RFP 25-019. This is for the HVAC maintenance, repairs, replacement, all our units. This contract will be for 5 years.
Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion, questions, concerns? Seeing Commissioner Fessick.
I only have one short question with this. Is there a reason why we have a 5-year contract, or is that, and it's tied to, I believe, the next item as well, the next agenda item as well? They both?
It will be for 5 years or less.
Or less. Perfect. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Further commission discussion? Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Commissioner Fessick.
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton.
Yes.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fournier.
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
Yes. Item 11 is the first reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to execute a service agreement between the City of Pompano Beach and Flowtech Mechanical, LLC, for as-needed, specifically designated HVAC maintenance and repair services, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Once again, Mr. Ventura.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. This item in front of you is ordinance under the city chapter code 32.39, competitive bidding. This agreement consists of the scope of work for the proposal RFP 25-019 for the chillers maintenance of City Hall, BSO complex, and the Cultural Arts Center. This is for repairs, replacement of components, and other maintenance due to. This agreement is for 5 years or less, too.
Very good, thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion, questions? Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Commissioner Fezzik.
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Sigerson-Eaton.
Yes.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fournier.
Yes.
Mayor Harton.
Yes. Item number 12 is a resolution. Before you read it, Mr. Berman, Mr. Alford would like to postpone this till September 9th. Do you need to read it to get it on the floor to postpone it?
No, we can just postpone this item too.
Okay, is there a motion to postpone till September 9th?
Make a motion to postpone until September 9th, item 12.
Second.
Item 12. Very good. Moved and second to postpone item 12 to September 9th. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Thank you. Item 13 is a resolution.
To the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, appointing blank to the Pompano Beach Police and Firefighters Retirement System of the City of Pompano Beach for a term of 3 years, said term to expire on September 12th, 2028, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. I'll go ahead and nominate Cheryl Aronian, incumbent, District 5, only applicant. Any further nominations for this item? Hearing none, nominations closed. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Thank you. Item 14 is a resolution.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, granting the city manager authority during the City Commission's August hiatus to perform and finish such matters as may have been budgeted and authorized subject to ratification thereafter, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded for discussion. Ms. Sybil.
Thank you, Mayor. As you're all aware, you'll be on hiatus for about 7 weeks, with the next City Commission meeting not being on until September 9th. So this is typically a resolution that's brought to the Commission to allow the city manager to approve items that may come up that are already budgeted and authorized. So some examples of items that have been approved in the past might be a grant agreement where we've applied for a grant. Typically, that comes to the Commission for approval. In this case, if the grantor needs it executed, let's say in the month of August, the city manager would be authorized to approve that agreement. It would still come back to you in September for ratification. So again, this is to just allow for continuity of operations during your hiatus. That completes my comments. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion. Questions? Commissioner Fezzik.
Thank you. I understand this is a housekeeping item for the most part, but I just would like some clarification that nothing would be done or decided that would be binding or that would be done to circumvent City Commission or CRA Board approval by allowing Mr. Harrison to have this authority, correct?
Yeah, it has to come back to you for ratification. So if something was approved and it did come back to you for ratification, the Commission as a body could undo that or terminate an agreement, as an example. But I see Mr. Berman raising his hand, so go for it, Mr. Berman.
Didn't mean to cut you off. You were doing great.
Yes, you did.
This
Go ahead.
is mainly for time-sensitive matters. We don't want to lose money. We don't want to lose grants, things that have to be in at certain times. It's not, let's let everything pile up so we can get the manager to knock it out during the month of August and bring them back. There are certain things that won't be able to wait, that need to be done immediately. When they're brought back to you, there'll be an explanation of what was done and why there was a need to enter into it and not let it sit until September. Ms. Sybil, do you agree with that assessment?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. The reason why I asked that is because we had, I believe some publications say that there was for the new downtown, I believe there was some sort of time frame for August 15th that something might be coming back to City Commission. So I just want to make sure that we're very clear about what the limitations are for that. So, thank you.
Very good. Further Commission discussion. Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Commissioner Fezzik.
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Sigerson-Eaton.
Yes.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fournier.
Yes.
Mayor Harton.
Yes. Item 15 is consideration.
Consideration for the rescheduling of the City Commission meeting of November 11th, 2025, and the cancellation of the City Commission meetings of November 25th, 2025, and December 23rd, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Ms. Sybil.
Yes, Mayor. So the item before you is, because November 11th is Veterans Day, which is the normal scheduled commission meeting date, it is being recommended that that be moved to November 13th. In addition, in honor of Thanksgiving and Christmas, we're asking for cancellation of the second meeting in November and the second meeting in December for the City Commission meeting. That concludes my comments. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion. Commissioner Fasick?
Thank you again. I have just one comment. And I know, thank you, I had this comment with our assistant city managers on our call, but I wanted to just make sure that it was also said. I would like to have us in the future look at when we're planning the calendar and do so in a manner that will allow, like, we should have known last year when we were scheduling this, that Veterans Day was November 11th. And so the reason why I bring that up is because all of us here, we live and our whole lives are dictated by these calendars. And so when somebody cancels a CRA meeting or CRA board meeting, a day before or 2 days before, or any of these things that are being canceled or not thought about, it does impact our lives. And so, for example, I shared with our assistant city managers, I have made plans with my family. I've got 4 kids that live all over the place. And so I scheduled my plans for the holidays and, for the month of November and December around these schedules. Now, of course, December 23rd, I fully understand. Let's go ahead and cancel that. But November 25th, while I appreciate that it's Thanksgiving or just before Thanksgiving, schools and work generally don't get out on Tuesday. People can take time off, and that's their right. But even schools, they go till Wednesday afternoon, half day, many offices. And so to cancel that second meeting, I feel it would be inappropriate. Instead, we should just potentially cancel the Veterans Day meeting because we can't hold it on Veterans Day. And if, and I just wanted to see if there was any feedback related to anybody else's schedule. But if at all necessary, I can amend my plans and attend virtually on the 11th, but I have made my plans well in advance of this coming up on the agenda as an item. So I would just appreciate that in the future we don't have this happen and we look at that more comprehensively from the get-go. Thank you.
Very good. Further commission discussion? Vice Mayor.
I just want to share something really cool. Kids now get the whole week of Thanksgiving off. Yes, it's new. The public schools, they get the whole week off. It makes so much more sense. You don't have to all travel Wednesday afternoon. Your kids are older, so you missed out on that, but it's awesome.
Very cool. Further commission discussion? Commissioner Perkins.
So is it necessary, do we have something pending that we must have a meeting on November 25th? Is there, because I know we canceled a lot
It's
of.
customary for that meeting to be, or that week for the meeting to be canceled is because it falls on that week of Thanksgiving, November 25th. It's canceled every year. This is customary.
Yeah,
along with the meeting.
Okay, so we're canceling the 25th.
Canceled.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It's the November 11th. As
25th and the 23rd of December.
Yes,
Okay,
and the November 11th is moved to Thursday.
Got it.
It's Thursday, right?
Right, the 13th.
That's due to Veterans Day.
Yeah.
All right.
Falling on that day.
Very good. Further commission discussion? Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Commissioner Fezzik.
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Segerson Eaton.
Yes.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fournier.
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
Yes. Okay, that completes our regular agenda. Any additional audience to be heard? No. Very good. Okay, next scheduled meeting. You're killing me with this one. Okay, September 9th, 2025 at 1 p.m., regular City Commission meeting. September 15th, 2025 at 6 p.m., the first public budget hearing. September 22nd, 2025 at 6 p.m., the final public budget hearing. September 23rd, 2025 at 6 p.m., regular City Commission meeting. Very good. That takes us up to reports. Ms. Sybil for City Manager.
Yes, Mayor, I have a few things. So on July 29th at 10 a.m., BSO will be having a memorial event for Officer Scott Winters at the Pompano Beach Cemetery. As everyone knows, Officer Winters lost his life tragically in the line of duty on July 29, 1990. So this will be a memorial held at the Pompano Beach Cemetery. And again, this is a BSO event. Also on the same date, July 29th, 11:30 a.m., there will be a Pompano Beach memorial event. There will be a new monument dedicated to Sergeant Chris Rica, and that event will be happening at 11:30 a.m. at Walgreens at 960 South Power Line Road, and it's open to the public for anybody who would like to attend. Again, another officer that tragically lost his life in the line of duty on August 10, 2007. Again, I just want to wish you all a restful hiatus. Hopefully you'll take this time to spend time with your families, and I'll see you guys on September 9th. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Mr. Berman, City Attorney.
Thank you. The only report I have is on September 23rd meeting. Tracy Lyons, Deputy City Attorney, will be filling in for me. It is Rosh Hashanah. I will not be here or available that day, so thank you.
Very good, thank you, sir.
Well, that's it.
All right. Mr. Alfred, City Clerk.
I have no report, but I want to request that all iPads be left behind for, I'm sorry, I know at the last report on these iPads that we would do less of a pullback, but I will need the iPads for at least for the month of August so that we can finalize some last minute changes that was brought to my attention by the IT department. So I asked if everyone could leave their iPads behind. And
okay, for the whole month of August.
Well, no, we'll likely get everything complete in the early parts of August, but I just need it.
Very good. So everybody leave your iPads behind tonight. Okay. Anything else?
Wish everyone a restful and have a good time during their hiatus.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
City Commission, Commissioner Fessick.
Thank you. So I actually have a concern that a resident brought to me, and I would not be able to do it justice to explain this. And when he went through it with me, I thought there was something we should all hear because it affects all of us, and it affects also potentially our liability as a city. So, Mr. Mueller, if you would please come up, and I'll have him come over there. And I gave Mr. Alfred. Did you get the file? Oh, the thing you need? Oh.
No.
Okay. We'll get him the paperwork. Clinton Mueller, the resident in my district.
What has he got?
He's gonna.
What is that?
That's his PowerPoint. So that
Has it been cleared by Sandra King?
Is for a PowerPoint for his PowerPoint?
Yeah, because we can
have her look.
We don't display anything unless
Okay,
it's
that's
been
fine.
cleared by Sandra King.
It's all of our information.
Sure. Okay. Sure.
You can have it printed.
Sorry, but yeah.
Thank you.
This is what you were gonna PowerPoint? This?
Yes, that was the actual.
Oh, it's the air part. Okay. Urgent safety. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Assistant City Manager, City Council, I'd like to thank all of you guys, one, for putting a meeting, obviously. I know it takes it going this late a lot of times, but people like me are able to participate in these. So I'd like to thank you guys for continuing to hold these in the afternoon like this, number one. Number two, so I brought this to Commissioner Fezik's attention, and I'm incredibly appreciative of the fact that she heard it. I had been getting of a bunch of different notifications that were being brought to me from residents in the area, from city, excuse me for 1 minute, I'm not sure what's going on here, but So the city has a city group basically came to my attention about the noise around the airport. And for a number of months on my end, I chalked it up as just basically going, oh, it's just a bunch of people really just complaining about our city, right? And didn't really think much on it. In January, I was able to devote a lot more of my attention home. And during that time period, I began realizing that there was merit to their complaint. However, the merit doesn't stop with noise. It actually, where I'm at, so my name is Clinton Mueller. My address is 1080 Northeast 28th Avenue. I'm on Harbor Village Island. On a daily basis, in fact, you guys should have in your records there, from June 20th to June 23rd, I had finally said, let me see if there's merit. During that time period, over 400 different passes over my home in 3 days. 3 days. 400 passes over my home, where my wife and my children reside, at below 500 feet. Below 500 feet. The FAA, for most developed cities, has it at 1,000 feet. We are the only one of 67 counties that has one airport that is below 1,000, and we actually have 3 of them. We have Perry, we have ours, and we have FXE, all below that 1,000. Despite that, despite having that variance from 1,000 to 800, we're seeing on a regular basis planes that are both school and private violating that on a daily basis consistently at all hours of the day and night. We have people, if you follow it all on the social media pages, which I know many of us do, you'll see complaints of people getting these things at midnight, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, where people are doing touch and goes below that 800 level. Even when they take off, they are not returning, they are not making an effort to go above that 800-foot threshold. Now, we just basically saw what happened at Perry Airport. We've seen it, what happened 3 blocks away from my house when a plane crashed there using that east-west runway 10 runway. That runway is 30% shorter than the other 2 major runways. 30%. When I have talked to pilots, when I have talked to airport representatives, when I have spoken to other people who know this industry, they tell me that runway 10 is a problem because it is too short of a runway. And I know you're a pilot as well, Mayor. It is too short of a runway for Pipers and Cessnas to get to the necessary 800 feet requirement before it gets over residential buildings. That is imperiling drivers, that is imperiling residents, that is imperiling passersby who are going up and down Federal, Harbor Village, and yes, even our new developments that we've spent millions upon millions of dollars on the beaches developing, those high rises, that beautiful parking garage, all the shops, everything that we're doing is a direct, right darn in the middle of basically that trajectory. So, Mr. Mayor and City Council, obviously, I know we didn't have the presentation, so I'm sorry that I wasn't able to get that to you. But runway 10 should not be used in any capacity outside of emergency use and taxiing. There's no reason to use it unless you guys are willing to do an independent study that can show that those Pipers and those Cessnas can achieve 800 feet before they get to residential. They're violating FAA requirements by basically being below that 800 feet before they're hitting residential. And I don't think any of us, I don't think a single one of us wants to see a repeat of what happened in Perry. And not only that, but I'm also willing to believe that the majority of you, so there's a heat map that I put in place as well across all of your individual districts to basically show where the height is on a regular basis. 4 of the 5 commissioners, 4 of the 5 of you are basically having residents that are directly impacted by these flights going at all hours of the day below the 800-foot threshold. This is a moral, this is a safety, and this is a risk issue that this city, I really truly believe, and I know you being a pilot and knowing the background as well, Mr. Mayor, and I know many of you here have heard this from residents repeatedly. You've had people come up here and speak. It's time to basically take a look at those numbers. Those numbers that I provided you on that flight log don't lie. That's going through FlightAware 24 and FlightAware and Flight Radar 24. Those are easily verifiable. You can take a look at basically right where my home is. That distance that I'm providing you guys is an actual altitude above my home. Some of them going as low as 125 feet above Harbor Village. To give you guys an idea of what that's like, if you take a look as well in the presentation at your leisure, there's also a reference point to that, which is it's the equivalent of someone turning a blender on in your home. Imagine that at midnight. Imagine that at 4 o'clock in the morning. Or imagine that at any other point in the day. We have good faith measures that are already put in place. You have 2 different addendums that basically tackle the idea of basically safety over there at the airport, but I don't see them being enforced in the least. Chapter 93 gives you guys the authority through the airport to not only establish rules and regulations for that, Chapter 93 also gives you guys the ability to assess fines and fees. You guys have a $479,000 budget shortage here from what I heard. If you just collected just off of those 3 days, the violations that occurred over my home, you'd have $200,000 in the bank of the city right now. I yield the rest of my time. Any questions?
I do.
Well, this is Commissioner Fessik's report.
Thank you.
So
It is my report.
Thank you, sir.
It is my report. So what I will do is so that there can be questions answered, is I'd like to make a motion. So in this documentation, Mr. Mueller put together the requesting that we would make, so I'm going to make a motion to effective immediately shut down runway 10 until we can have an independent study done, and only shut it down for emergencies, leaving it open for, of course, emergencies or taxiing, until we can have an independent study done to confirm or deny, I guess, anything that you've had here. But I believe that if, with the 3 days, I would like to make that motion, and I hope that for safety reasons, we would have a second on that, and then we can discuss any potentials or potentially have another opportunity to discuss in detail.
Okay, so the motion is to...
The motion is to effective immediately, have runway 10 shut down with the exception of taxiing and emergency landings until we are able to have an independent study review this information for us.
I'll second, but I have a question.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to shut down runway 10 at the air park immediately. Before we get to your question, can I ask Mr. Berman to chime in? Mr. Berman, can we legally do this?
Likely not. Likely we would need FAA authorization before we can take any measures. This is not the time and the place to deal with this issue in this manner, respectfully. This is something that needs to be brought and met with the airport director, and we can talk to the FAA or file this complaint with the FAA, but we just can't start shutting down airport runways without FAA authorization, to my knowledge. Of course, the airport manager is not here to discuss it because there was no knowledge that this would be coming up. And I'm not an aviation attorney, but I'm 99% sure we would need FAA approval.
Very good, thank you.
And that's,
Mr. Perkins?
and that's fine. Okay, so that's fine. I'll.
Mr. Perkins?
Yes, I did second the motion, but that was my question. Do we send them a letter, or do we set up a meeting, or, so based on the motion, you said we can't, so I guess you got to rescind your motion.
So I got to rescind the motion, and
So, so Mr. Berman, so what steps do we take now?
I think respectfully would suggest the first step is to meet with Air Park staff If there are violations going on, they'll know the best way to deal with those violations, whether the FAA assesses that, whether a study needs to be done, whatever needs to be done. But it needs to go through the people that know how to run airports, and that know the regulations that are applicable. And that's what we should set up first. Can be done quickly, can be done efficiently, and then find out what the appropriate measures are.
So what does quickly look like?
Depends on the airport manager's schedule. If we need it done quickly, we can set it up and find out, at least get a sense of what needs to be done to accomplish what's desired here, or at least to take a look at this issue.
Okay, so instead, I'd like to make a different motion. Then.
You're gonna rescind the other
Okay, I rescinded the other one.
Okay, so.
And so I rescinded the initial motion, but in order to discuss this, I would like to make a motion then that we, well, so first of all, respectfully, this neighborhood has met with the city, the airport manager multiple times. And Mr. Mueller, what would be, I guess, before I make any other motions, what would be an acceptable step forward for you?
Commissioner Fessig, this is your
Yes.
report time. You've
Right.
already had a presentation.
Okay, that's fine.
So let's stick with you.
Well, I would like to have the discussion regarding this, so I would like to then request that for the September 9th commission meeting, and I'll make a motion, that we do look into the legalities of what we need to do and potentially look at potentially raising those fines for people who are violating our own rules in our own city airpark, Chapter 93.
So you're.
So I would like this to come back to September 9th and specifically to discuss the safety issue and raising our violations dollar amounts.
Okay.
So for full disclosure for the airport manager,
Just a discussion item about these things? Is that what you're looking for?
a discussion item, and to potentially raise the fines for violators of this. So it wouldn't be, I don't know if it's a discussion item. Mr. Berman, I'll let you tell me the technical.
I think respectfully, we should have a discussion item as to what can be done, and then we can consider what fines. Operational matters are usually left to the FAA and not the city of Pompano Beach. Some of the violations cited in here, I don't know if they would be covered by this activity that was complained about tonight. Then you have to collect it, you have to have a way to go after it. The licensing authority is the Federal Aviation Administration. We need to meet with the appropriate people, find out what a game plan could be, bring it back to you, and then we can make further decision as to what could be done or should be done.
Perfect.
We'll have a discussion
Then we'll have it as a discussion then for September 9th. Thank you.
And you'll have the airport manager here or whoever. I'm looking at Mr. McConney shaking his head, so I guess that'll happen. Thank you.
Okay, so your motion is
My motion is to bring it back as a discussion item for September 9th to discuss the safety issues and potential violations.
Very good. And Ms. Sybil, you're taking notes on this?
Yes,
I mean,
Mayor,
Mr.
thank
Berman
you.
is great and everything, but it's okay, so you got a motion to have a discussion item on September 9th concerning the air park and rules, regulations, violations thereof, and other matters. Very good. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded to direct staff to have a discussion item. I mean, we could have just told them to do it, but since it's a motion anyway.
Truly need a motion
Because
for
you really
this?
don't need a motion.
Sure, why not? Make it official.
I have a question.
Sure. Commissioner Perkins.
Based on this information that you've given us that was supposed to be a part of your PowerPoint.
Yes, ma'am.
It says runway 10,
Yes, ma'am.
which means you've highlighted the homes that were at risk on this paper.
Yes, ma'am.
And my district is highlighted the most. I really don't want to wait till September. This is the majority. This,
Yeah.
but look at this.
That's our district map. So he's just showing.
It's 4.
Right.
So what's highlighted in red is the ones where flights repeatedly went below the 500-foot threshold. The ones that are highlighted in orange had less frequency, but were still below the 800-foot threshold that's set by the FAA.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Well, I would like to speak with you after the meeting, so we can talk.
No worries.
Okay.
No worries.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded to direct staff to have a discussion item on September 9th. So is there commission discussion on the motion? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call a roll.
Commissioner Fezzik,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Seegerson-Eaton,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fournier,
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
Yes. Commissioner Fessick, it's your report.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you all very much.
I have only a few more things. At our CRA board meeting, Mr. Berman, I had some questions for Ms. McKenna I had some questions for Ms. McKenna related to the city and the CRA acquiring property in the Northwest District without appraisals or board approval. And I was told that we didn't have to do that because we didn't take advantage of the public records exemption, or because we had a public records exemption. So I just wanted to see if you had the opportunity to look at that or have heard that from Ms. McKenna. Because basically, well, do you agree with that? Do you agree with Ms. McKenna's interpretation that the city or CRA doesn't have to require appraisals, or that they are optional under Florida Statute 166.045 if the city or CRA chooses to not use the exemption?
I didn't hear the question asked to her. I didn't hear her answer, and I want the opportunity respectfully to look at the video, find out what the answer was, maybe talk to Ms. McKenna, and then get back to you. I can get back to you at the next public meeting, or I can call you and discuss with you.
You can call me. Actually, I asked her for a written explanation and to be provided by the end of last week, and I still don't have it. So that's why I'm asking the question today.
That's fine. I don't understand the response that you're discussing, so what type of property, what was bought, what wasn't. I'm going to get some details, and I can certainly get back to you as to whether I agree with that position or not,
Absolutely.
whatever
Thank
the
you.
position was.
Thank you. Because so the reason why I bring it up is because it was over $10.7 million spent in a very short time frame. And
Is this
so,
for the downtown? I'm sorry to interrupt.
for the downtown, yes. Well, some of it's for the downtown, I'm assuming, yes. So anyway, just the clarification there. I just believe that we should be aware, even if we're going to pay over appraised value, I just believe that we as taxpayers and as residents and as a council and as a board, we should be made aware of these decisions, not after the fact and not by finding out through a request. So there's reasons why these parameters are in place, and I did a little bit of reading, and so I will look forward to your response. But my overall first recourse is that the Attorney General and the League of Cities also agree that an appraisal is warranted, too, if it's over $500,000. So I'd like to just kind of dig into that and make sure that we're doing our best to comply with state statutes and regulations, and we're not missing anything. So that's that. So I'll move on to some other fun things now. I want to say thank you to everybody for all of your hard work, staff. I hope everybody, I know that everybody will be working while we are taking our hiatus, but every day is obviously still a work day, so thank you for that, and thank you for all of you participating, and I would like to and hope you all enjoy having your summer hiatus. I did look into no, there will be no community meeting for me in August. However, my email and my phone are always available to residents. Even though we may be on hiatus, I understand life does not stop. And the last thing is Adopt a Dune. Everybody knows I love Mr. Gottlieb and his program, and so I adopted a dune on our beach, and September 20th, you can just save the date, because we'll need some extra volunteers to help pull weeds and plant new seagrasses and plants on our dunes and in our dunes. And it's a great opportunity to get some sunshine and learn a little bit more while you're helping to protect our coastline. So with that, I hope everybody has a great one, and I'm done.
Very good. Commissioner Perkins.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. I have several things because a lot is going to take place during the month of August. First, we have the naming. Pete Guinness, can you come up real quick? We have the naming of the fire station in honor of former Commissioner Woody Portier. That will take place on September, I want to say 3rd at 10 a.m. Yeah, do you have the address of the fire station?
10 Southwest 27th Avenue.
Okay, 10 Southwest 27th, and that's on the intersection of 27th and Atlantic.
Correct.
Okay, so that will take place. We will be renaming that fire station after Mr. Woody Portier. And thank you. And on the same day, at 9 a.m. that morning, we have thank you, Pete.
Okay.
We have a grand opening at Blanche Ely High School for a health resource hub. That will also be on September 3rd at 9 a.m. This is in partnership with, I think it's community, I can't think of Michael Bell's group. But anyway, it's a grand opening at Blanche Ely High School. It's a health resource hub for the grand opening on September 3rd at 9 a.m. And of course, that same morning, September 3rd at 10 a.m. is the renaming of the fire station for Woody Portier. Also, we have Noble. Does anybody know what Noble, N-O-B-L-E is?
Mm-hmm.
Noble? Okay, well, Noble is coming to Pompano Beach. Noble it stands for National Organization of Black Law Enforcement. And they will be having their, I had it on my computer, hold on. They will be having their 49th annual training conference memorial march here in the great city of Pompano Beach. So this will take place on August 9th. All of the officers, we have African-American officers from all over the United States will gather at the E. Pat Larkin Center, and they will march from E. Pat Larkin Center to Hopewell Missionary Baptist Church on August 9th, and I'm not sure of the time, it's somewhere between 7 and 7:30 and 8 o'clock. So I'm hoping I can get some copies of this and get it out to the community. We especially want our young people to experience and see some of these officers from all over the world walking down the street in unity. Is something I think our young kids need to take a look at. Lastly, we have the Clean Streets Cleanup, which will take place in Old Collier City. And it will take place on July 24th for that neighborhood. So if you have any used tires, bicycles, toys, television, stereo equipment, you can put that out by the road on the 24th only. The 24th only. So I think that's it for me, Mayor. Everybody have a nice, I say vacation. So we'll see everybody back on September 9th. Oh, and also my community breakfast is also canceled. We will have the next breakfast the first Saturday in September at the Ally Culture Arts Center. And that's it for me.
Very good. Commissioner Segerson-Eaton.
Thank you, Mayor. I also want to wish everyone a happy time off. Seems like we're getting booked pretty quickly, though. And also the Crest Haven Civic Association will be meeting Thursday, September 11th, at 7 o'clock at the Charlotte Burry Center. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Commissioner Smith.
Thank you. It was great to see that we got from the Florida Department of Health $349,000 for Cassandra Rett and Community Court to set up a care and social support services. I think that was fantastic. Another positive thing that happened tonight is we just reinforce the quality of the clean water that we have here in Pompano Beach. And thank you, Nate and team, for what you do to keep our water so clean and fresh and awarding. Assistant City Manager has already mentioned about Chris Reike's memorial. We're going to have a new monument that will be unveiled at the Walgreens at 960 South Powerline Road, which is where he tragically lost his life in the line of duty on August 10th, 2007. So the community's really been looking forward to the new monument. So thank you, Major, for what you've done to get that taken care of. I'm going to be having I'm not taking August off. Didn't get the memo. So I'm having a town hall on August 6th from 6 to 7 at the Skolnick Community Center, gathering new residents, old residents, and let's just work together as community. There's a Call Your City Fun Day, the 10th annual Call Your City Fun Day, July 26th, this Saturday from 10 to 3 at McNair Park on 27th Avenue. And something about community, tragically, there's a lot of negative about community in the hill country of Texas, and I have family that's from there, so it really hit home with what happened with their flooding. And it prompted some residents to ask me, what do we have set up in Pompano Beach for an emergency broadcast? So I asked that, and Sandra King had the answer, because she has all the answers. And we have a program called Code Red. And if you're not aware of it, you should sign up for it. And it gives you an emergency text to your phone, emails and phone calls, and you can sign up for them through the City of Pompano Beach's webpage. So Code Red for emergency notifications. We already have it set up, implemented, and ready to roll. Positive quote for tonight. You cannot do a kindness too soon, for you never know how soon it will be too late. And that's from Ralph Waldo Emerson. And you guys have a good summer off.
Very good. Thank you for that. Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Two quick things. I want to say thank you to everyone at the city, especially the engineering department, John, Tammy, Hector, for all your work pushing the Six Terrace Bridge approvals. It's not been easy, but we did finally get U.S. Army Corps of Engineers approval for that bridge, so we are moving in the right direction on that one. I look forward to moving expeditiously to put it out to bid and seeing how quickly we can get that done and to continue the momentum on that. So thank you very much for all of the emails and responses to me and to all the residents who have been sending you messages over the last months and years. So thank you. I have my community meeting tomorrow at 7 p.m. at the American Legion. Everyone is welcome, everybody in, nobody out. We're going to talk about budget, bridges, BSO, downtown, anything that people want to talk about. Anything on your mind, stop by and ask questions, and we will have a back and forth and try and get everything answered. So 7 p.m. at the American Legion tomorrow. The meeting in August will be canceled, but tomorrow we are on. Thank you.
Very good. Everyone enjoy the break, and I'll see you guys in September. Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.